Hello and welcome to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Adkins, and today we're going to be bringing you another third round Call to Arms match from the Universal Battle Kings of War tournament called Arms. The scenario is going to be Kill, and the players are going to be Adam Ballard and Adam Padley. Hey, guys.
How's it going?
Hey up.
Joining me, offering some insightful commentary on the match will be Elliot Morrish, Jake Cherapika, and Ashley Mowat.
How's it going?
What's up?
And as I said, they will be playing Kill. So without further ado, let's talk about their lists. Bringing up Adam Ballard's list first. And Adam is playing Empire Dust. All right, Adam, what do you got?
I got a horde of skeleton warriors, a couple regiments of skeleton spears, mummy regiment, slave guardians with the caterpillar, slave guardian archers, 2 bone giants, a monolith. Then I got 2 skull catapults, one with the shattering upgrade, the soul snare, cursed high priest with surge and drain life 7, and then the idolist Shobik. So just kind of a all around, all comers, a little bit of shooting, a little bit of surging, decent amount of combat list. So
All right, great. Thank you. And now I'm going to bring up Adam Padley's list, who will be playing Basileans. All right, go for it.
This is nice and simple. I've got 5 regiments of man-at-arms swordsmen, 2 regiments of Alohi, 3 dragons with Aegis fragments, Samachris, Mother of Phoenixes, and to top it off, Julius, Dragon of the Heaven.
All right. Very nicely balanced list. That's good.
Yeah, something like that.
It's fluffy. It's got infantry in it.
Yeah.
I
Balanced.
don't have to remember a lot of unit names. This is perfect.
Yeah.
I'll keep drinking.
I'm sure it's great at scenarios. But as we said, you guys are going to be playing Kill, and we're going to be playing the Northern Kings variant of Kill, which has some additional objectives on the field for bonus points. So now let's take a look at the field that you guys have set up. So is this one of the Epic Dwarf maps that you guys chose?
Yeah, just a random roll.
Okay. And what terrain heights are you guys using, just so we know what can see what?
3 for hills, 6 for the rocks in the middle and the building, and the forests are 9.
Okay, great. And you guys are using these tombstones here scattered about the table for the objectives?
Correct.
Yep.
All right, okay. 3 across the middle, 2 on the right side, 1 on the hill on the left. Cool. And it looks like Adam Padley, you've deployed on the top side of the screen, and Adam Ballard is on the bottom side of the screen. So Adam Padley, if you wouldn't mind walking us through your deployment starting over on the left.
Yeah, so from left to right, I've got a dragon next to a low-high regiment. And it goes men-at-arms, Samachris, men-at-arms, Julius, dragon, men-at-arms, 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 dragon, a low-high.
It's kind of a nice
Put that in
symmetry.
form of a song.
Yeah, I'll be rapping.
Helpful rhyme.
Okay, and then Adam Ballard, Empire Dust down here on the bottom. Adam, could you walk us through your deployment, please?
yeah, so I'm trying to do a little bit of a denied flank, so I deployed on my right half. But right in the center there, I got a spearman regiment to start, bone dragon right next to it, and then the mummies to the right of that. Behind them, got a horde of enslaved guardians. Then going further to the right, got my monolith, and right behind that is my little high priest. Got my horde of skeleton warriors. Then behind him, got the idol of Shobik and the soul snare. Next to those, have my enslaved guardian archers. and then another bone giant and another skeleton spear regiment. And then my 2 war machines are in the back.
Okay, and the one on the right has the scarab jar that gives shattering, right?
It does, yeah. It has a little flaming thing on there, if you can see that.
Yep, and it's in the unit name as well. Okay, that's great.
Cool. Just
That's-
briefly, question to both of you: Did the kill scenario affect your list at all, or is this similar to what you'd bring normally?
I've played this all 3 rounds so far.
Yeah, I've played this all 3 rounds as well.
That's great.
All
Thank you.
right.
Yeah, I was just curious if you were tailoring lists or keeping something similar.
I've never played the kill scenario, so this will be interesting.
That's one word for it.
Something like that.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I wish you guys best of luck. We will be watching. Have fun, and we will see you back here at the end of the game.
Sounds good.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck. Good luck, guys. All right. So who gets to make the first which Adam will win joke?
I think you just did.
Squeeze it in. Well, I've been calling him Padley my entire life. Calling him Adam sounds weird.
So whose list do we like in this matchup?
I think. I don't want to. There's a very fine tradition with Northern Kings commentating on each other that I have to be very biased against him. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky game, I think, for Adam Ballard.
Yeah, I feel like Padley's list is a spooky. Though I have been tabled by Adam Ballard before, so I also don't trust it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I believe
Adam-
that is Adam Padley has won the roll off for first round, and has elected to go first. And if you're playing a 4-dragon list, why the hell wouldn't you?
Right, because you can. I mean, the issue he's going to have now, of course, is that one dragon's going to fly straight down the flank and encircle straight away. The lack of speed on Adam Ballard's list is going to be a real issue here.
How much
Because-
surge does he have?
He's at
Yeah,
like 16, I think.
And then
So
does
a
the-
respectable amount, but not enough
Yeah.
to be a major factor, I think.
and he's got the surge from the monolith, hasn't he? Isn't that kind of anywhere on the board at any time surge?
It's not anywhere on the board. Well, it's anywhere within 24 inches, and it's a
Okay.
surge 8. So that's half of his surge. All the surge is kind of sitting there right together at the moment.
Well, I mean, he did kind of like deploy that way too. Everything is pretty close together. So 24-inch
going
surge.
I'm going to actually go maybe a little controversial here and say I actually like Adam Ballard's list a little bit more. Padley's list
I don't
is
like his list. No.
yeah. Padley's list
wait,
is super frightening. I mean, there's no question about it. But Ballard's list, I'm going to just go by last name. It's easier. It has just that little bit of shooting that early on, especially because those skeleton catapults with vicious can be pretty nasty early on. And then the surge means that the dragons aren't as tactically frightening as they would be if you were playing like a dwarf army, or well, I guess dwarves have surge too, but like a low surge army that can really envelop the flanks.
So I think Adam Ballard
I
is
agree.
actually going first. I thought Adam Padley had won
Yeah,
the roll.
it
I
looks
guess
like-
Adam Padley won the roll, but decided to let him go first. Interesting choice.
Interesting choice. I suppose it's not the worst choice because of where the terrain's placed, and obviously with shambling, there's only so much movement that can happen anyway.
You basically
first
grab
turn.
the beneficial positioning, and since it's kill, force them to come to you because you do have shooting. So
Yeah, well, and I think Adam Padley deployed all of his critical units out of line of sight of the catapults anyway. So he might basically just be making Adam Ballard burn a turn of
well, aren't
artillery.
those rocks? Isn't that a height 0 or a height 1 field?
Height 6 on the rocks, I think.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I think that the
Yeah.
rock thing is impassable. Yeah.
Because I
that's
know
right.
in last games I got you now. Okay.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah,
field
yeah,
down,
as you
down in the center.
Yeah, it does allow that there's not a single shot there for any of the war engines, which is a
Which is
shame,
a
really.
good-
I mean,
You need
Yeah.
that first turn.
And I see that like Ballard, like the way he deployed it was like looked nice, like in that nice little unit. But then I think that rock section in the middle there, that impassable, might be a little tricky. Like might end up splitting his lines a little bit when he kind of probably wants to stick everything close
together.
together. for it.
I mean, it also gives the dragon and Julius a lovely piece to play around, just to put a flank into it so you can't charge. And I don't know if you saw my game; it didn't quite work because I got shot off. But that idea of hiding your flanks around rocks with those small base flyers is terrifying. And Julius on a 40mm base is probably the best in the game at doing it.
Yeah.
Though
I have to say, I love with the Empire of Dust, one of the things that I kind of was jealous of in 3rd Ed is the fact that their bone giants are still on 50 mils. Because like the 75s sure have some things, but I love that 50 mil for the maneuverability of it.
Especially when you factor in surge, it's just so good.
Exactly. So it's really quite nice. You can get in spots that you wouldn't necessarily expect it. So
and I guess kill kind of does sort of play in Adam Ballard's favor a little bit because he can't just castle up and shoot and make Adam Padley come to him.
Absolutely, and the men at arms here are a liability, really, which is it's one of the reasons I was asking about whether they're tailored, because looking at Adam Ballard's list, I would guess it's not tailored for kill, but also Padley's having 5 regiments of men at arms that are effectively just giving points away, because they're not going to kill a whole lot, and they're a fairly easy target for the shooting.
No, they're for carrying tokens and sitting on objectives. But so are they?
Exactly.
Is he basically just going to leave them in the deployment zone until like turn 4, and then try to walk out and take 3 or 4 of those objectives in the middle of the field? Like why even bother moving them forward?
Or you're just like hoping he'll shoot your men at arms off and then just like keep all your expensive shit alive.
Yeah, just ignore the dragon and focus purely on the
Yes, that is.
So we have some shooting. We have some shooting against one of the men at arms regiment just because he can't see anything else.
Yeah.
Which of the enslaved guardian hordes is the archers versus the combat ones?
I think the left hand
side. The archers are in the woods on the right.
The archers in the woods. Okay. Yeah. So they actually have a shot if they wanted it on the dragon, right? Because the dragon's a Titan.
Yes, so they can see over the hill. Yeah.
It looks like he might shoot the. I don't know what he's shot with so far. Was that a?
It was a catapult.
He shot with one of the catapults, and I think he just surged the other catapult for fun.
Huh.
So that now he can see as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The soul snare gets drain life range 18, is it?
18.
18, yeah. And then it can throw its heal out 12, I believe.
Yes.
So it's
really good. He's just got to wait for them to come in. Like he's got drain life on his Cursed High Priest and the soul snare, so he's got a good amount of drain life. He's got a good amount of heal. He's got a good amount of artillery. It's just a question of like how many rounds will he get to bring that to bear on the dragons before they're encircling him and picking stuff
up,
you know?
I think it will come down very much to Adam Padley basically has to charge everything all at once.
Yeah.
Because you can't if you send things in one at a time, the surge will just make it really easy to
you'll just get enveloped. Yeah.
You've just got to throw everything all at once and accept you're going to probably lose something to surge. But hope that's just not enough.
That might be a waiver result on those.
13, 15.
14 or 13, 15.
Oh no, not one of the regiment's men at arms.
That could have been a key one.
I know. That's going to hold him up.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
It's going to hold him up for so long.
Actually, if I was Padley here, I would throw the men at arms down 10 inches.
Yeah. Put pressure on, lock stuff up.
Exactly, because if you're charging out of the little castle you've got in the corner, then you're making a mistake. So you might as well put that pressure on. There's almost no harm, really. It's moving cover that you can put your dragons behind to, block angles again. It's not going to give you any protection from shooting, but it's a moving road.
The monolith is an odd choice in this list because, maybe in different matchups, Adam Ballard would deploy a little bit wider, but with him so boxed up, I almost feel like the monolith, the benefit of the monolith is having that source of surge just a little bit further up.
We forgot shattering, so that actually does make that a 15.
Oh, it does it.
Nice. First blood.
First blood.
But the monolith is one of those units that I don't quite see the role in this army. Maybe it's just because I don't understand Empire of Dust, but
no, I see what you mean. It's a fairly cheap access to surge that means that your Cursed High Priest can be drain lifing things.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't disagree with you. It's the monolith. Does it have unit strength? I'm not
It
sure
might
if
be unit strength.
Unit strength 1. I'm just looking right
Yeah,
now.
so you can also sit it on objectives normally. 24-inch bubble is effectively wherever you need it.
Defense 5-17 nerves. So you could sit on something. 120 points. So how many is a high priest? A high priest
Lots.
is 85. Once you put surge, it's So surge with drain life is 150. I mean, if you took the drain life off, you could get a high priest that is a little bit more tactically flexible.
But then your high priest doesn't have unit strength though either,
It's
right?
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's your trade-off. So Adam Padley, of course, kind of how we expected, sent the far left dragon all the way down into the flank, and is just moving everything up aggressively.
Interesting here, because he's pivoted the dragon, he's basically signposted that he's not going to try and fly behind the lines next turn. Because he's effectively, there's no way he can go 20 there and reach anything.
Right.
He could have kept his dragon straight and effectively either bluffed or gone on to 20 and spun a right angle to threaten everything. But I think the surge really does shut that down. And like you were saying, Jake, that if this was a dwarf list, I'd be a lot more scared for Adam Ballard, because as soon as you're behind it, you've won.
Right.
Whereas with surge, that's just not the same issue, is it? You
just
can't
turn
do that.
surge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that dragon on the hill is within arc for both of the catapults.
Yeah. He's also currently height. What is he? Oh, the forests were height 9, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, the forests are 9, so nothing can see over forests.
Yeah.
So, Elliot, talk to me about how the kill scenario has been going this round of Called Arms. Has there been anything interesting in any of the results?
Yeah, so far we're on almost 25% draws for this round, which is much, much higher than so far. They've just been looking, the average for the last few rounds has been hovering around 10%. Sort of, it's been climbing, but nothing to this extent. So much so that I think it has to be because of the scenario rather than sort of player skill matching out through the Swiss system. I know that the games that have been on stream so far, they've all been draws, I think, for kill. And I think kill just lends itself a bit more to a draw than
one. I think Jeff Trace won his match, but it was
Brindley won his match.
But I think a couple of them were draws.
Yeah,
like more than you would expect. Or like you say, about 10%. If it's between like 5 and 15, I wouldn't bat an eye. If it's over 20, I would.
Yeah,
think
and we're now at 25% now.
Yeah.
Well, and we're talking about how many. There's like 140 players, right? So you're looking at like 70 games. Yeah. Like 72 games.
50 of the games so far, and yeah. So we'll see if it evens back out in the last 20. But haven't a lot of the draws been between previously undefeated players? So hasn't this like knocked out some of the top players a little bit?
It's even. I've got the message here. But it'll be interesting because we were sort of worried about the amount of undefeated players that we'd have at the end of the event. So I suppose one thing that Kill's done is even that field a little bit. Because of course with so many players and only 6 rounds, you will have quite a few that you managed to go the full 6 games undefeated.
Right.
How many do you guys have? How many are undefeated at this point? Do you have the number? But I guess we're not done round 3. But
no.
And some of the undefeated players haven't played yet. I think Tom Robinson and Alex Coos haven't played yet. I don't think
they would literally. I think they might have just finished.
They were just playing before we started.
Yeah, they started at 8 o'clock UK time. So I've not seen if they're still going or if in fact I think Tom's spectating this match, so I'm assuming it's finished.
Oh. Tom, tell us how your match went.
All right, we got some shooting starting here.
Yeah, he's moved on to shooting, so I guess we're going to see some breath weapons, or I guess some fireballs from Samachris. Or no, Julius, I'm sorry. Felix says they're still playing, so this is going to be like where you're watching one football game and they're giving you score updates from a different football game.
Yeah.
Thank you, Felix.
That's excellent. Like that. So clearly, Thomas had the time to pop in, observe another game.
Jeremy Duvall wants to say, make sure we all vote on the countercharge spring painting challenge polls that are coming up today. I think the individual non-mantic model and the non-mantic units are up.
Where can people find those?
Those are on the Countercharge Facebook page.
The Countercharge Facebook page.
I believe that's it.
Not Countercharge After Dark, but the Countercharge
The
podcast.
Countercharge Facebook, the podcast page.
Okay.
And I want to bitterly, grumpily look into the camera, as I mentioned that Greg has 2 honorable mentions for his units that he painted extremely quick for him. So,
nice. Are those the ones that he's been posting on Dash 28 about? Was it that army?
Yeah, that army.
Very cool.
Yeah, the Squigs are such good models, and Slayers are such good models. They paint up so nice.
Okay, turn 2.
Once again, Adam's turn 2. That'll be Adam Ballard's turn 2.
Yeah.
So that was a 12 rolled for a nerve check, but on an undead unit that just doesn't care.
Right.
So that was 2 damage, I think, there from Samacris's fireball, wasn't it? Jason fireball.
Yep.
Is it in range of the Iron Resolve to heal it back?
I think he just healed it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's rough. I feel like that's like, when you roll that double 6 and you're like, yes, they're fearless.
I always try to stop my opponents from doing it because I'm like, and mentally I'm like, don't waste the double 6, save it.
Don't use them up.
Oh yeah, no, that was the mummies, so they just regen.
They just regen it back.
Yeah, but it's always nice when you double 1 them and you think, well, I've got that out of the way.
Yeah, that's okay. If it's like turn 1 and you've done 1 damage, you're like, roll the double 1. Oh, that's fine. Get it out of your system.
Out of the bag.
So Adam has a few options for shooting here, I think.
Yeah, so we'll have the dragon. I'm guessing both catapults are on the left dragon now in arc. Looks like it from here.
They should still be, yeah.
Why is he's checking to see if Julius can fit in there. Okay, I was like, why is Julius moving into the flank now? So I mean,
but with Julius at that point, I guess like to land, yeah, he doesn't have space to land. But I was like, he can't see that.
Well, yeah, because that's one way in which the monolith, I guess, is kind of a liability because it's got no attacks, and it's only speed 5. So like you could kind of land on it, and it could kind of get in the way of your other units.
Yeah, slow up your battle line.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience playing against Empire of Dust or playing with Empire of Dust, so
it's interesting because they're an absolutely fantastic scenario army of Empire of Dust. I've never really seen them at Kill, and this isn't a list I would expect to see from Kill, but that's not a bad thing actually.
Right.
I think some of the list people are writing for Kill aren't necessarily. What was he in range?
I don't know. How fast is Shobik?
Yeah,
Shobik I thought was only move 6.
7.
7.
7. So
although
6, 9, 12.
I'm not sure I like that charge because then you've got a low high and the dragon.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't really love it. I think he backed it up.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think it's within 14. I think it's just out of 14.
Yeah.
3, 6, 9, 12, 14. Yeah, he's 14 and a half.
Yeah.
So.
I'd be nervous as Adam Ballard to come out of my little corner at the moment. There's not really a lot of reason to, and as soon as you do that, you can push those men at arms up again just to block anything that might come support, and then you can just mob him, and you've taken a point off. You've not really gained anything from it, because it's a fearless dragon with Iron Resolve too.
And I mean, Adam's in assaults. I mean, like he wants to have these turns of shooting without. I mean, I guess theoretically, you're like maybe I hit both dragons, but yeah, it's not worth the risk. Because Shobik can take that front charge from a dragon easy.
Especially with the terrain there. You can easily make sure that's a hindered charge.
The double charge would be pretty scary.
It would, but then you've got Guardians either side of it, and you've got Bone Giant, and you've got all sorts of...
A Soul Snare. Yeah, he's got all of his Drain Life right back there. So if you don't kill Shobik, you'll just get like Drain Life 16 and Shobik will heal.
I think if I was Adam Padley, I'd want to spending more turns getting things more around flanks and threatening rear charges before actually committing. To go in on the front.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No. It's okay.
I think to commit in the front kind of takes away all the advantage you've got of being more maneuverable and being a dragon. You really need to get lots of units around the flanks and rears before you then charge head on in the front.
Yeah, the dragons like that I fear. I don't like in a game. You don't fear the front charge as much as you fear the maneuverability, right? So
not an Empire Dust Army again. Like you've got so much heal and so much drain life, and you've got Iron Resolve, Aura, and like So this is one of those like classic like Alpha Strike up against a healing
immovable
kind of
object, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so Adam Padley, I guess, is going to have to look for advantageous flanks and convenient double charges and things like that. Because he can't just sort of fly in and single charge a bunch of stuff. Because if he bounces off, he's going to get surge. He's going to get flank surge charges. He's going to get grounded. And if he's committed all of his hammers to like 2 or 3 charges that don't work out, he doesn't really have anything that can come rescue them. Like he can send in his Elohi regiments to kind of chaff up likely counter surge charges, but he's only got 2 of those and 1 on each side. So I don't know. This is a little tricky.
Yeah, he did place them to kind of like support the dragons
on the flanks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But let's see how it works out.
This is one of those instances where I think one of the reasons I don't like kill as a scenario is that like you get in these standoffs where there's not. I mean, it's really tough to figure out these openings. Whereas if this was like pillage, you'd be like, I need to get that, second and third objective.
I have to move.
Right.
Well, that's it. If you looked at the map now and this was pillage, you'd be, if you were Adam Padley, you'd be laughing, wouldn't you?
Right. You'd be like, so now I just stand here and heal, and that's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, right? Like, there's so much there's so much risk and reward, right? So like, there's always that like trade-off. Well, if I charge up and kill this, I probably will die, but I have this other unit that can take an eject, or that's going to help make it happen. But then you're losing those points, and every unit you lose is those points that are changing your scenario. So it adds an extra layer to the risk reward balance.
And as well, especially with Iron Resolve, Drain Life, and Heal, it's not like you can throw something in and say, well, I'm going to die, but I'm going to do 10 damage on the way out. And that's a worthwhile trade, because that 10 damage just won't be there in a few turns. So you've got to make sure every damage you put on sticks, and you really earn your points back.
You really got to blow it up once, and that's it.
Yeah.
One thing to keep in mind is that the monolith can cast Surge 8, but it has to do it at the start of the range phase. So that might cut down on some of Ballard's counterattack options. If you want to do something fancy like disengage from combat, shoot, or shoot with the catapults and then surge them back in, you can't do that with the monolith's surge. You can only do that with his Cursed High Priest, who also has Drained Life, who he might rather use. So
that's a strange and seemingly unnecessary restriction.
Right.
I'm like, but why? Like, I'm
exactly,
like, but why? Who was like, this is the rule that is the game changer.
This is how we keep this unit from being broken.
Right. You can only take 1. It costs 120 points, and it's unnecessarily restricted.
Yeah. Also, apparently, Elliot, we had a verbal Canadian standoff as per Felix Castro in our.
I've seen, which is impressive because I'm not Canadian.
No, but he says that because I'm Canadian, I'm also British because the Queen is on my money.
British Commonwealth, Felix. They're both citizens of the British Commonwealth.
Science checks out. I'm going to side with Felix on this one. Science checks out.
Science checks out. I feel like you're confusing your subject.
I'm okay with it. You're all just ungrateful colonials.
So both of these.
Where exactly in Canada is Yorkshire?
Both of these armies have also had -28 tier reviews done, and I'm looking, and I don't think either of them have anything below B tier in them. And it could be argued that some of the B tier units are actually A tier or potential A tier units. So these are some pretty filthy lists we're seeing.
Yep. So Adam. Ballard has moved on to shooting, and he did shoot his catapults at the dragon on the far left on the hill like we expected, only doing 3 wounds. And now it looks like he's trying to and now he's soul staring on one of those crucial men-at-arms regiments.
1 hit.
Just 1 hit. And the enslaved guardians will be going into the same unit. You know, I mean, if you kill enough of those and nothing else
one more
dies,
hit.
you only have to win by 230 points. So,
Well, 18 shots and 1 hit.
well, we know what that is.
Why are you shooting at dragons?
I warrant a
Or a low high?
hashtag UP dice.
Yeah. I have to say, I think the men at arms are an interesting choice there for the target. You've got a low high regiments that are what 160 points. You've got dragons that are 325 points or whatever they are, and then you've got 105 points.
I wonder if the
Men at arms
thought
regiment.
is like, you stand better chance of sustained damage because of the Iron Resolve heal back, but yeah, I agree.
Even if you can burn through his Aegis fragment, it would be worth the shot just to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, all 3 of his dragons all have Aegis fragments.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
'Cause why not?
'Cause it's fine.
Why not?
What else are you going to spend points on in this list, right?
Yeah, it's 5 points for +1 nerve.
And there's the cackling that I
There's the cackling.
mentioned.
I kind of want to believe that came out of your mouth, Jake, instead of your wife.
Yeah. I am loving the Adam's turn too. Do you think that's intentional or just the room?
So now, bottom of 2, that is going to be
To Mr. Padley.
Adam Padley's Basileans at the top of the screen. So what do you do here?
Is he just going to charge everything?
Yeah, does he have his
Adam's got a
charges
really-
lined up well enough? I don't think he does.
I don't know. Adam's got a really bad habit of just charging everything.
6, 9, 12, 15, 18. He doesn't really have range on anything except these skeleton spears with the dragon all the way over here on the hill.
Yeah, I imagine that dragon has to be moving around to get in a better flanking position this turn.
Yeah. See, like when you talked about how the dragon had turned so much, I feel like maybe, he should have faced forward a little more.
Yeah.
Because everything just kind of turned that way now.
Mm.
Yeah, the
just
Aloha and the
giving-
Forest likewise only have range to that same unit, it looks like.
Padley is in a spot where, like, depending on the player, the mental pressure of having, shooting that could potentially spike dice pop up is a thing. I mean, like, I imagine because, Padley's fine, but, like, depending on the player, that is something worth considering. We saw it in the last game we commentated Elliot, where I think Jeremy really started to feel the pressure when the dwarves start peeling units off.
Yeah, I agree. It can make him sometimes, especially you take a hit or two, you start to question the maths.
Right.
And you really do push forward more than you should. Whether Padley will do it here, I'm not sure. I would imagine, or I would say the best thing to do is to move the left dragon into the field. Because even if he does manage to surge the skeleton warriors in, that's only hitting on 6s. You've got a fairly good chance of not being grounded. And then pull the Aloha high up, and then all of a sudden you've got a much tighter net. And then if you bring the men at arms in the middle forward, you can hide Julius behind one of those. Again, you've got another charge direction. Bring the other 2 men at arms forward, and you bring the dragons behind them again, and you've got 2 more charge directions. And all of a sudden, your next turn feels a lot scarier.
When I played a mostly flying Alpha Strike army, like, I found that if I tried to charge everything on turn 2, I ended up losing the game. Like, you need to wait until you have some really opportune charges. You need some patience. You need to wait for a turn 3 or 4 real crushing Alpha Strike. I found that like turn 2 was just as a rule of thumb was just too early to charge with this kind
and
of
I think
army.
defensive armies start to feel that pressure a little bit more versus Alpha Strike. If they haven't peeled enough off by turn 4 or 5, your Alpha Strike list can jump in 2 turns and remove a good amount. So that's in the Masters for Best of the Rest, the best uses I had for the dragon and the werewolves was when I was charging turn 3, 4, somewhere around there, and really like just getting the best use out of them, but also making sure they were safe. So I agree.
I mean,
I remember dying to
that. Because a list like Padley's can take off 1,000 points in a turn easily.
On the right turn,
on the right turn, maybe not on the bottom of turn 2, but
no, but it doesn't need to rush. I think it only needs 1 or 2 turns really to score big points if it gets in the right position. Whereas Adam Ballard's list, I think, probably needs a bit longer to start. It needs that grind. It needs to wear people down sooner, and it could really do with the shooting being quite hot early on. So it doesn't look like Adam's spotted any sneaky flanks or anything that have been missed.
No, he's thinking about it.
I didn't see any. I think
And
not this turn anyway.
he might just continue marching his men-at-arms up just to get in the way of things and give him another round to maneuver.
And they're an
Not a
excellent
terrible
screen.
option.
Yeah. They're a good screen. You can't easily get around them.
They're not guaranteed to die. When everything's melee 5, 4 at best, and then it's hindered, they really could survive those charges from the skeletons.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the most challenging parts of playing the Empire of Dust. I think there's a core of a great army there, but because almost all of the army minus and Slave Guardians hits on 4s, it's one of those armies that can so easily flub. And with terrain, you're just like, oh, it's pillows hitting me. Okay.
And I don't think there's any access to Strider or Pathfinder, really, is there, in the list?
Other than the giants,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the Idol have Pathfinder or Strider?
That's a good question.
It has Strider.
Strider.
Shobik has Strider, yep.
I think so does the Bone Giant.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, Bone Giants have Strider.
Oh,
Strider too, right? So he does have a bit of Strider there.
We have a charge. So, Men-at-Arms, I think, charging to get in the way, seeing as they're charging mummies over a wall.
Right.
They're not going to do a whole lot, but that I like this play because anything you can do to block people up when you've got Surge Armors it's the right thing to do. Looks like does he want to charge something?
Now he's.
I think he wants to throw both into there. I told you he likes to charge too much.
Yep. And so that's probably these Alohi over here, because that do have range.
I feel like I hope it's those Alohi, or otherwise someone might be cheating.
Yep. So this is going to be a double charge with this dragon on the hill and those Alohi into these skeletons all the way over here on the flank. And that means those men-at-arms are basically just keeping the mummies from flanking either of those after they're done, and he'll just deal with the Slave Guardians.
Because the skeleton warriors have got more nerve than people remember.
The regiment.
They're dash 15?
16,
and,
yeah,
and they're phalanx. And they have phalanx.
Yeah, the phalanx could actually be huge here.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm sure I'll have forgotten about that.
So, Elliot, you know Padley. Do you think that the mental pressure of having units potentially getting shot off is what caused this, or is this just his play style?
This is play style. Yeah,
Okay.
Adam is a very, very laid back player. to a fault, I would imagine. Say sometimes.
I want to feel that I just want to roll the dice. So I can appreciate that in Padley.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive player, and I don't think that's
That's not a bad
thing at all. It's just that, if I'd have been a betting man and said, "Will Adam charge, or would he spend another turn?" I would have said charge.
Okay.
Every time, actually. I don't think he should have done, but it's what he did.
Right.
But it works for him actually, because then while Adam is a very sort of cool and collected player, you can put a lot of pressure on people very quickly, so they start making mistakes and start feeling like they've got to react.
The only other member of my club, his name is Ed Fisk, and he played Chris Fisher, who's a great player, and Ed is an extremely aggressive player, plays with 3 hordes of honor guard, and basically just moved at the double across the field really fast. And Chris thought he was going to play defensively, and because Chris can get put on the back foot from that type of play style, he ended up timing out or losing really bad. I can't remember which one, but Ed beat Chris, who's a much more experienced player, from that exact thing of, whoa, what's happening?
And the list sort of that Adam Padley is famous for is his Fleabag sniff spam to the nth degree. Adam Padley is a reason that Fleabag sniffs no longer exist in the same way anymore. But the reason, as much as I hate to admit it, that list did take a lot of skill to play. And one of the things that was so powerful about it was that Adam was very good at throwing things forward very quickly and putting you under huge amounts of pressure. So you had to just scrabble to deal with it. And the best way to beat it was just to calm down, actually, and think, right, they're only flea bags. What are they actually going to do? But you'd watch so many games and people would see a flea bag in the flank and panic and go, right, I've got to move here and I've got to do this and I've got to put things everywhere. You think, oh God, it's a flea bag. It won't do anything.
Right. So we have a double charge into Skeleton Spearmen, which are -15 with Phalanx. And I don't think they're currently inspired, are they?
No.
No.
They're not. They're
Is
more than 9 away.
Shobik's very inspiring. Does that change it?
He is, but he's all the way over the
there.
other side.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I was
still,
like-
Dragon does 4 damage. The Alohi do 3 if they're lucky.
Yeah, they
7,
landed
so
on a
you
wall, I
need an
think.
8 to waver.
The wall should make a difference because if you phalanx is if you're not hindered with flyers, so it's same difference either way. So
Okay.
So
It's just that they don't stack, right?
let's say the skeleton spearmen die. What do you then do with that dragon and those Alohi?
So the Aloha kind of have to pivot to guard the dragon, don't they, from the dragon, from the giant. And then I suppose you've just got a way of turning them to threaten everything with the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really the goal here is to pop those skeletons and turn the dragon so that next turn you can fly over whatever is turned to face the dragon and double charge something on the right side of the table with the other dragon, right? Like,
but the only fear is those two that he can turn and then surge into the dragon too. So
which is why the
Alohi are there, right?
Box him out. Yeah, right. He's basically sacrificing 2 chaff pieces here to put the dragon in a good position to get a good flank charge on something next turn.
I mean, he's also brought Julius up, and in quite a nice place there, actually. So anything that turns too aggressively to deal with the dragon then has to deal with Julius in the flank.
And Julius is how many attacks again?
He's 8 attacks with Elite.
Mini dragon.
Yeah.
Baby dragon.
He's amazing. I played Julius before he was cool, when he was version 2. I used to have Julius and Samacris. They were unbelievable pairing. They were brilliant. Back when it was Elite and Vicious and everything.
Right.
I hear you, bro. I used White's first King's War Masters, and people were like, "Why do you use those? Those aren't even good." Then it became the standard, and I don't want to say it's because of me, but it was because of me.
I was like, but was it, Jake?
Was it a pity buff? Is that what you're saying?
What's interesting here with the placement of the catapults is that you could charge one of the catapults and kill it, and the way those enslaved guardians are at the moment, all they could do is a full 180, which means there's no way they're going to be surging to your flank. It's still not ideal to be having one of those surging to your front, but you'd have to get a fairly good surge roll to get them to move the whole distance into you. Yeah,
because especially if you go for the back one, right?
Yeah, because
then you could just turn all the way around, and that would be how far would you have to go? Probably.
He does have surge 16. And it looks like
it'd be a 6-inch surge, but it would definitely be into your front rather than your your rear. And then you've got Julius and 2 more dragons and a Alohi looking at your rear if you fail to break it.
Looks like Adam Padley's done with his movement, and he's moved on to shooting, and he's got one of his dragons breathing at the
I forgot they've got breath attacks as well, just to
skeleton horde.
Just to add to the fun.
Yep.
Why not?
And just squeeze through a wound. See what else he has in mind. I guess Julius has a fireball. He can fireball something.
Oh, yeah.
What do you shoot here? The Bone Giant for the heck of it, or the Guardian? Yep.
Yeah, Guardian, I guess. Give them something to heal with Drain Life.
Right.
4 hits.
Not bad.
1. So yeah, I mean, the strength of Padley's list isn't shooting.
No,
it's helpful to have all that shooting because there'll be times where you can take off chaff and you can be annoying.
Or it's like a cleanup. You roll that double ones, they charge back, and there's something sitting there with a ton of wounds on it. Or you just need to do that 1 damage to roll a nerve check.
Yeah, exactly.
Like good cleanup.
Has he? So he has remembered phalanx at least. So dragon has done pretty much exactly average. Ooh, that's above average.
So I wonder if Adam
5 damage. Oh, yeah.
I wonder how Adam will feel if he loses this unit. Because I mean, with Surge and other stuff, he does have backup things in place.
That's a 4 once, and that's a 6.
Yeah, that's
6.
Oh yeah, got him. Yeah. He does it. I mean, he's got things to deal with it. And those Aloha potentially are going to have a few issues with spinning.
Sorry, there was a 5 once that he needed. But he got it, so that's 105 points. Got him Padley. And we have a tie game.
Are those Aloha overlapping at the minute? Is Adam blatantly cheating? Yeah, they are. Sounds like he can hear me.
All right, so now he reforms. And that's
Yeah,
pretty much what you have to do, right? You have to.
I
use
think
the
he needs to
Aloha
decide because I think he has to turn either a lot, yeah,
Yeah, or a little. Yeah, the
a lot or a little.
the men at arms are in the way there, really.
Yeah, I think he needs to pivot a little more. Otherwise, I think the Guardians will still be able to come over. Yeah, there you go. Enslaved Guardians would be able to move close and possibly surge
They
past.
can only
the
move
Aloha.
90 degrees though, so if they
Yeah.
want to move, so there's still a clip of the Aloha, wouldn't there? But it's
Yeah, I think that's pretty good reform for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there he is checking it just to see like how far would you have to move.
but you've got a fairly good chance of losing your Aloha, which aren't cheap.
Which way? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Which is effectively using a 160 point Aloha regiment as chaff there.
Yeah, just to buy him an
Yeah.
advantageous charge on something. It better be worth it, you know. It must
I just
be-
have to step away.
You know, I mean, they always say that if you need it to be, anything can be chaff if it works for you.
Right.
But it's not cheap.
I guess he does have technically he does have a rear charge on the monolith if he wants it. So I think this is probably the men at arms against the mummies.
It's like 4 hits. 1 damage.
And, yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, managed
Or 2
to.
damage.
That's not going to get mummies. They're inspired.
Yeah,
Mummies are what, like
let's,
-17 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So -18.
With-
yeah.
With regen. And
Right. With regen.
they're a very, very nice unit at the moment.
So can you check with the Alohi? Are the mummies in the front or the flank? Because he could back up an inch with the mummies and maybe hit the Alohi and then try for a pivot on the dragon with the giant, maybe?
He's in the front. The mummies are in the front of the Alohi.
I don't know if even with a pivot the giant could get in, but maybe double
Not with
charge in.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially not, because if your dragon is facing,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So-
Yep, I see. Mhm.
yeah, so because it would hit the Aloha first, wouldn't it, if it's turning?
What's their nerve? Is their nerve dash 14? So a giant and mummies, but you couldn't. I mean, you could double charge into them with the mummies and the giant, and that's decent odds. I mean, it's not great odds, but it's okay odds
Yeah.
to break those Alohi.
You could also surge the enslaved guardians, and
Yeah, that's a good point.
the issue you've got there though is you've got Julius. So if you don't break them,
Yep.
they should break them together. Those two should kill them. But you've got Julius being a pain there.
And I guess the giant's not going to block the line of sight of the dragon anymore because the dragon's a titan and he's just a monster. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, Adams has some
and-
tough choices here because this is, I think, depending on how he shifts and moves here, it could dictate a lot of the rest of the game.
And I think the Guardians are actually going to need a surge. I'm not sure that they can even see the Alohi where they are.
Well,
Yeah, I think you're right.
We tend to say if the line's touching at all, you're an arc. There's been a
I
lot,
think-
lot of debate about whether what point of the line is actually the arc. Is it
Right.
Right.
halfway through? Is it on the end? Is it?
Well, it is on the line, but I don't know if it needs to be over the line.
I've always said if it's touching the line, it's an arc.
Okay.
I don't know how accurate that is, but it's
That's like tennis
a
style.
good
If the
rule of
chalk
thumb.
flies up, it's in.
You're British, so I feel like that counts as like +1 on the like ruling. You're closer to Mantic, so that's how that works, right? Like when Matt G came over to Vanguard, if he said that's the rule, I'd be like, all right, you're British, so that sounds right.
I have my name in the book. Does that count?
I mean, that's like +2, like, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a regen roll on the mummies, picking up one of the 2 wounds that they took last turn.
And so when they then hit, you know, the life
They'll-
leech will get the
Life leech
rest
the rest
back.
back. Yep. Yeah.
But you say that I've played plenty of games against Dan King, and he's going, "What's the rule?" It's like, Dan, you wrote it. It's your rule.
I guess I can understand that though. The number of times that I've made like different things for Dungeons and Dragons and asked my party, "What did we decide again?" They're like, "You came up with the whole thing."
Yeah.
Well, I come up with a lot of things. It's hard to keep them all straight.
Right.
That's always interesting with playtesting as well, because obviously we did a lot of playtesting with 3rd edition, and then we'd start playing games and go, "What version are we on now? What can they do?
Did this thing actually make it in?" Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like he sent the bone giant into the flank of the men-at-arms. Touching the wall doesn't matter because it's Strider. And now it looks like he is lining up the enslaved guardians for front charge on these Alohi. Possibly a surge if he knew.
Is he charging possibly charging, yeah. Or it might be that he decided he couldn't. Yeah, so they're going for the surge.
Yeah. Which is fine because he's got plenty of surge and the monolith doesn't really do anything else other than surge. So,
I quite like the flank on that. I think taking units off is nice. I think these guys should take them off in one go. It still doesn't answer the problem of what you do though next turn.
Sure. It doesn't, and that flank charge doesn't really change the final position of the bone giant.
Exactly.
That's pretty much where he was going to end up anyway. And I guess now it gets him out of the way a little more because if he had charged the Alohi, he'd be in the middle, and it might be a little harder to surge the guardians in.
Yeah. So it looks like he's thinking about going for the men-at-arms.
Yep. Spitballing.
I like it. It should protect your flank from the dragon, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, since it puts puts the flank of the horde awfully close to the building.
Mm-hmm.
Or one flank in a way. Might actually have the other flank in with the other dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So you have to. But I guess if you're going to send like this bone giant into the other men-at-arms regiment, then you can have him cover Shobek's flank as well. And if he ends up there, then the dragon will be in his front. So it might work out.
It's currently 8 minutes to midnight here, so I'm not really having fish finger sandwiches at the moment.
That'll be for tomorrow, right? That'll be the highlight of tomorrow's broadcast. Never mind all of the like preview of new rules stuff or any of that. It's going to be all about lunch.
What's Elliot having for lunch?
Speaking of that, for those of you who don't know, tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock British time and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are having a special episode of Dash 28 Live as part of Mantic's Virtual Open Day. We're going to be having a demo match featuring some new rules that'll be coming out in an upcoming campaign supplement sometime this year from Mantic, focusing on Magic. So if you're not busy, you definitely will want to check that out. If you check it out live, you can ask questions. We'll have Matt James from the Rules Committee on, who I believe is the author. And so if you want to pick his brain or ask questions, we'll be happy to pass them on if you type them in the comments. I believe Mantic also has a Discord server set up for Open Day, and we'll be in the channel for that live stream demo as well, taking questions and pass them on as well. So if you don't have plans tomorrow, now you do.
I will probably be asleep.
I'll watch it back later.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be happy that it's at 9 a.m. The original slot I think was 10 a.m. UK time, and we had to point out that as international viewers go, that's not the best.
It's like 2 a.m. on the West Coast out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that broadcast is going to span a full 8 hours worth of time zones because we're going to have Dan Miner all the way on the west coast of Canada playing against Elliot all the way in England.
Yeah, and we both agreed we had to be drinking beer, and it's going to be 5:30 a.m. for Dan. Yep, and 2 for me. So
do you think he just like starts at 5:30 or just doesn't stop?
I think he might just stay up.
I'll let him choose how to do that, but we've said that this campaign supplement is going to be a beer and pretzels kind of game, so it has to have beer. Yeah.
You got to have the beer, otherwise you're not getting the full effect, the full intention. So it looks like Adam has decided to do that double charge with his skeleton horde and Shobek.
It's a tricky one that because the
men of arms.
The skeletons are going to be hindered. If you don't break it, you're going to get hurt. But I suppose you've got to do something, haven't you?
Yeah.
Or do you?
Well, I mean, by moving them there, he doesn't have to worry about the dragon over on the center of the board charging into the flank of his skeleton horde anymore.
I don't need to rant about the scoring system. I know my scoring system works. I also know how it works. That's the difference.
Uh-oh. It's fine.
So back to the game.
More like
These countercharge hosts, man, always stirring up trouble, I swear.
Yeah, we're still Fudra. Steve Fudra, we'll get him in.
There you go.
It's tricky. I don't see a very good sort of next turn for Adam Ballard here. I get what he's doing. I get why he's charging out and he's sort of moving things up a bit, but there wasn't really a way you could turn without getting one of the dragons in your flank.
Yeah.
But even if everything goes well for him at the moment and he kills the men-at-arms regiment, there's not a good position to reform into.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. It's not this is risky, but it might do X if it pays off. Even if it goes well, I'm not sure I see what happens next.
I don't see a good reform for him, really.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't think you reform. I think you. I mean,
Just
I think
stay there.
that's where you want to be. Yeah. I mean, aside from, I think the dragon over here still has a flank on Shobik.
Shobik, no?
That's a problem.
Yeah,
but I guess if
flank
he
on
just
Shobik.
turns, I guess if he just turns to face that direction and puts the dragon in his front, the
Or
other
even
dragon
sidesteps.
can't land in his rear.
Because
Or
if he
sidestep,
sidesteps, then it should go into the front, and then the Aloha will then have a flank.
Right.
Yeah, I think that might have the best charge.
I think I would have thrown this bone giant up into the other men-at-arms regiment just to have something to cover Shobik's flank there.
Yeah.
Shobik's a lot of points. Like, you don't really want to lose him.
Yeah, I mean, he's tough. He's defense 6, right? But
Defense 6, yeah, dash 18.
dash 18, but still.
But still, he's 290 points.
Yeah, and the dragon in the flank will mess your day up there.
Yep.
It'll make you want to drink more.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, not a guaranteed kill. So
No.
he's potentially risking it knowing that he's got other things to... Or he's going for it because he doesn't have much of the choice.
So he's trying to protect.
Yeah,
so right now he's trying to protect his monolith's flank from Julius.
Yeah.
I guess hoping that the dragon just picks a different target. Because the dragon is still in the rear of the monolith. So I guess if the dragon wants the monolith, he can take it, but the monolith's only 120 points. So and doesn't do much other than inspire and surge. So I feel like at this point, like there might be better targets for this dragon than the monolith. So
Well, and he's also got such a high nerve, right? So it's like, how many turns do you want to stay picking at that?
Right. I mean, it's dash
120
17.
points.
Dash 17, but a dragon in the rear might be able to
Should
get
get
him
him
one
one.
shot. Should be able to get him one shot.
I mean, the only reason to go for the monolith, I think, is to use it as a free reform, effectively.
Yeah.
And you're like
Charge
right in the
in the
middle of the
rear.
battle line, right? So
Yeah.
you have a lot of options then.
Right in the middle of the battle line, but right there, ready to get shot and drain lifed, I guess, because it's 3, 6, 9, 12. Well, he'd be too close for. He would be certainly too close for one of the catapults to shoot, and possibly too close for the other one to shoot. With indirect fire, you got to be more than 12 inches away. So.
Right, so shooting.
So shooting.
You could do with a really good shooting turn, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the monolith's
Let's see
roll.
how it goes.
Only gets one, but
Ooh.
one is all it needs.
Living life on the edge.
I think we can call that that.
Yeah, I think we can take
Eight
that
dice.
safe to say.
See, I'm not
Dice
sure.
1
I think that's just surge dice. Everyone knows that you.
Right.
As soon as you need a 1-inch surge, it's always touch and go.
Right.
Doesn't matter how many dice you've got. If it's a 6-inch surge, then you'll always get it. But a 1-inch surge, it's always on a raised edge.
And looks like he is going to put his catapults into the dragon on the left. Two
The
catapults.
fearless on these
dragon.
dragons just makes them so powerful.
So that's
The
gonna
fact
be
that
one hit.
you can take these catapults quite happily and not have to worry about being wavered.
Do you
Yeah.
think that shooting Julius may have been a better choice because it's a lower nerve?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I think he's the dragon is in a worse position as far as Adam Ballard's concerned. But yeah, Julius is probably the easier target there because he's only fearless 16. He also doesn't have quite as much. Oh no, actually, the Aegis fragment's already gone, hasn't it? So
yeah, not a lot. Only 2 wounds from both catapults. I don't know that 2 catapults really do it. I feel like if you're going to bother taking them, you should take 3 or
3,
don't bother.
right?
take 3.
Two is the gentleman's choice, right? Like it's the agreement that you're going to be effective, but effective enough, right? You're not going to drink the tears of your enemies. You're just going to, dance on their corpses.
So the soul snare and the guardian brute get. Not the guardian brute. The guardian archers get this men-at-arms regiment on the right up to 9 wounds, which is pretty good.
That's solid. Again, I don't know why the
you
men
don't
at
shoot
arms.
the Elohai?
Right? Why the men at arms?
Why not the Elohai? It's like, yeah.
Well, the Aloha are out of range of the soul snare at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Could
this
it-
will be drain
well,
life from the first type.
It's 18, isn't it? So it could have got itself in range, I suppose, couldn't it?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
he
say,
could have turned and moved that way a little more, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like just 1 on the drain life on the men at arms from the cursed high priest. Ugh, only 2 hits on 7 dice. That's pretty bad. All right, gonna see some nerve checks here.
Yeah.
Or not bothering with nerve checks, just doing Iron Resolve.
So it looks like he's killed that one, I think.
Fine.
Oh, no, wait.
That should be a waiver, yeah.
Okay.
No shattering saving him this time. Just a waiver.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it?
no.
No.
And
I don't think he was
there's-
relying on that unit, really. The only downside is potentially it can't get out of the way enough for a double flank.
So it looks like he's moved on to combat, and this is going to be probably the bone giant in the flank of those men at arms. And that's going to be only 8 hits on 20 dice, about 5 wounds.
I feel like I'd be tempted to do the Eloi first,
Mm.
just because them being there or not's going to change how you want to pivot a little bit, right?
Only 2 hits from the mummies.
That's not good.
2, 6, 8. Sorry, math.
Neither these units are brutal, are they?
The
the
giant's brutal, isn't it?
Giant.
Giants, I think it might be, yeah.
So that's a 7 plus brutal. That ought to get it.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
all
13.
the inspiring around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And that should do it. Yep. So that is 2 of the crucial men-at-arms swordsman regiments gone.
Well, if he had a strategy, it's working.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, you turn, don't you, just to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tricky. You have to turn the bone giant, right? Because if the Elohi die and you don't turn the bone giant, then the dragon can just flank your bone giant. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, comment from Tom Annis saying that it looks like Tom's beat Alex, but that Alex managed to pull enough points back to avoid Tom and Tom playing in the next round. I've got to say, it does warm my heart a little bit that at least Tom Robinson can beat all of us up, and it's not just a British thing,
Not just a
you know.
Oh,
Alex got 7 points his game.
Well
I'm
fought.
saying, do we know what Tom got? If only I was an admin on the group and can go, look, How many points Tom got?
We can get live, full detail scoring.
Oh, if only I was in a chat with Tom and could just say how many points did he get?
You just ask him. So it looks like
22-7.
12, 22-7. Okay, so it looks like the enslaved guardians got 12 hits on the Elohi, and that's going to be what, 7 wounds? Yep.
So yeah, but no, I know it's guaranteed.
No. Elohi, you're dash 14, so it's
Mm.
going to need a 7 twice.
Yep,
Nope.
there's
And
a 4.
5.
Nope.
5.
So they will
And,
stick,
yeah,
and
Fearless.
Iron Resolve one.
Scary thing there.
Yep.
Mhm.
So here's the question. I mean, he needed the bone giant in the flank in order to break those men at arms. But would you rather have double charge into the Elohi to get them off for sure? Do you think, or do you think getting the men at arms off was more important?
It's tricky there, really.
It's
isn't it?
tricky.
'Cause I'm not sure what you've gained from the men at arms dying.
I think that's going to
other
be
than
Shobik
100.
doing what, 8 wounds looks like to the men at arms in the middle there, and then the horde, of course, is only going to. It's going to add 4. That's pretty good. It's going to take it up to 12.
So yeah, that should do it.
Shocked.
Well, I could say if his plan was to get men at arms, then he's getting men at arms.
Once again,
I did say that they were just a liability. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing in that, Adam Ballard has gotten a lot of the targets that he's charged, but I almost feel like Padley doesn't care because everything he cares about is still on the board, right?
Yeah,
Padley's like, yes, charge the men at arms. That is fine.
I'm gonna wear out your dice rolling arm by feeding
Right.
you men at arms.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it could be a very painful turn. This turn here now for Adam
For
Ballard.
Ballard, yeah.
Yeah.
For one
The
of
dragons
the
are in really good positions.
Although saying that they are, but there's on the right. There's no easy charges on the right hand side. Not without risks of surge. Shenanigans coming back on them, really.
True.
Yep.
I wonder actually if the. I think I would still be.
Weaver kind of cuts down some of your options. You have to get them out of the
Yeah.
way. They can't do anything.
I almost
I would
feel
still be
like you
looking
could
at
charge the soul snare, right? Because the soul snare is a war machine. You're going triple your attacks. You're guaranteed pivots. I mean, that leaves you vulnerable to some surge shenanigans, but mostly just against from those skeletons, right? Maybe the bone giant, but probably not.
Yeah, no, you're right, and then again, you're in a very good position, aren't you, to turn around.
Yep. So it looks like Adam Padley is considering sending Julius into the front of the bone giant, and Loki into its flank after disengaging from the enslaved guardians. And now he's trying to work out if these other men-at-arms can possibly get in on the mummies to block them off of Julius's flank for the next combat.
Which
Not
kind of looks
sure
like
he's gonna
they
be-
can.
I don't know. He's touching his own.
Ooh.
No,
Loki.
No.
blatant cheating there, Padley.
That's
Blatant
going to be a
cheating.
corner charge.
Just because all the maces are black, you still got overlap, my dude.
You can look as long as you like.
This is
Well,
one of those things
So
that
of course the thing there is you charge Julius first, then you charge the men-at-arms, then you charge the Elohi.
But you
leave enough room
can't-
for it. Oh, but you have
so
to do the
you-
double charge at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't you? Yeah.
All at the same time, yeah.
You might not be able to do that then.
A rule which Padley knows, very well. And he's now going to look at it for a while, going,
Right.
"Can I do that?"
So now we'll find out if Ballard knows that.
I would hope Adam does as a regional rep for the Midwest, not the Midwest Mountain. Sorry,
the
but
mountain,
yeah.
I don't know. Out there, past the Mississippi, it's all the same region.
There are too many states to remember where they all are. It's fine.
It's true.
So I think he's just trying all his options now, isn't it? To see.
Yep. He's just checking it all out. He's got small, fast, maneuverable stuff. He's got lots of potential options. So it's just a question of like which one does he want to take? Do the most favorable ones work, and if not, then you just kind of go down the line in order of preference of which one you want to do until you find the best one.
And I think
actually
he's
works.
right. He's right to be cautious on that left flank because those Enslaved Guardians are actually your only real threat to your dragons.
Yeah.
They're pretty much designed to kill dragons. Melee 3, crushing 2. Everything else, really. I mean, especially with Julius. I don't want to see Julius fighting skeletons. Not in, defense 6 and fearless and all that. He'll be there forever.
Right.
Yep.
It looks like it's probably basically going to the front.
I'd be tempted to hit the flank of the Bone Giant with those Aloe.
It looks like he's double charging the front of the Enslaved Guardians.
I can respect.
Sending...
Yeah, I can respect wanting to just nuke them off the board, though.
I'm not sure you do, though. Again,
still leaves you in a pretty good position, right? Because okay, so Julius is gonna go after one of the.
What's our nerve? Is it -17 or -18?
The Enslaved Guardians are -17. That's 5-17. And now, of course, throwing Julius over into a catapult leaves room for more men-at-arms to come stand.
More men-at-arms to violently throw themselves under the bus of the Bone Giant.
And the Bone Giant, yeah. Who is still basically standing there looking at their flank, and nothing charged him this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then next turn, what do? Do you turn the Bone Giant and surge him into the Lohi to make sure you get rid of him and throw the Enslaved Guardians into the Dragon, assuming they even survive?
I think they probably should survive. What's Dragon do? 7 hits. Dragon should do 6 damage to them. Elohai should do
like 3.
Another 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It's not a good.
It's not great.
No, because they're inspired now, aren't they? Because the Curse High Priest has moved over as well.
Still not within 6.
No. Just out. Okay, so it's dicey.
First High Priest is just inspiring.
This is interesting here. On the right flank, I don't think Adam Ballard's in as bad a position as it first looked.
Do you think?
Again, Adam's risking front charges.
Right. Do you think Padley charging the catapults is worth it? I mean, I understand they're a little frightening, but they're hitting a point where they'll be within 12 with most of the good, juicy targets.
I think he's doing that for the free reform with Julius.
Julius is behind the lines. And that's the shattering one. So if you get rid of that, just the other catapult by itself isn't really
a big deal. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, with all the healing and Iron Resolve and everything you have in your list, like, okay, that catapult rolls hot and does 5 damage to something one turn. Like, it's not going to pop it unless it's already really, really damaged, and you can heal a couple of 3 of those before the next time it gets around to shooting at you again.
I wonder almost, and I mean, this is granted way too late to really have thought of this, but with Adam Ballard with deploying these war machines, he deployed them almost in a castle to protect, but I wonder almost if deploying them wide left to force Padley to decide, do you hit the war machines or do you just charge my line?
I think it would have been a good play, actually, because they become a bit of a liability when your army's done what it's done, being forced to move to protect its flanks and rears. You've now given him a really good opportunity to jump straight over and spin round.
Right.
Yeah, and so over here on the right side, it looks like he's sending the dragon on the hill into the front of Shobik, because Adam Ballard turned him to face that way. He might be sending his Alohi off the hill into the Bone Giant, basically just to get him in the way and keep him off the flank of the dragon. And I think he's considering sending the central dragon all the way across into the Skeleton Spear Regiment.
Do we know what melee value the Guardian Archers are?
I think
melee
4.
Or?
They are melee 4.
Yeah.
Crushing 1, I think. Yeah, crushing 1.
Yeah, so they'll be in the flank of the Elohai. So.
Yeah, so here's your proxy unit for them to figure out what they can do on the next turn. Yeah, the dragon. Yeah, you just get the soul snare out of the way a little bit. Away they go. What's their move?
Ooh. Yeah,
6,
they could do. Spearman could move as well, couldn't they, just to get out of the way. Again, more aggressive Adam play, just charging the fronts of things rather than getting around the flank. I mean, it's worked so far.
It's worked so far because he's had plenty of men-at-arms chaff to keep throwing in the way of things, but he's running out of that fast. All right, so now we're considering that. Got to bring 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yeah, he can just get to the archers with. Okay, so it looks like now he's going to do a little bit of a crisscross here. He's going to send the dragon in the middle into the front of the bone giants, and the dragon on the hill into the front of Shobek, and the Elohi covering, or not. Can't make up his mind. I don't think either of them are great options, really.
No, I don't.
I almost feel like, Padley could just, pivot and move out of charge ranges, because that left flank's collapsing pretty hard right now, right?
It does feel like Padley's rushing, and you kind of wonder why.
Right.
A little bit. As you say, that left flank is collapsing, and you're about to have a Julius behind you.
Right.
And you have the speed advantage for days. And there's going to be one less shot from the catapults this turn, and all these things, and you just think, well, why not just back up a little? Actually, why risk these front charges?
And there are a lot of single front charges, so it's
right.
like
it's
not like you're getting a bunch of double charges.
No, he's almost at this stage having to use his dragons as chaff,
which isn't ideal at all. And
no,
kill.
not at all.
Once you start using your dragons as chaff, I am a concern.
And not chaff for reasons of winning, right?
No, and I don't think he will. He'll lose the dragons from doing it, but it will mean that he'll tie them up, forcing them to fight something that's not ideal for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So this I really don't like, because now this bone giant can easily disengage and turn and get Surge to flank the dragon.
And then you have so much. That's why I love the 50 mil bases.
And these skeletons spears, like if these
where are the surge sources? That's the only
the monolith. So the monolith's got 24.
Can the monolith turn?
The monolith's got 360.
Yep.
Surge,
so it's got it. Yeah.
Which is why it needed that massive nerf of first start of the shooting phase.
And that, only being able to use it at the very start, right? Perfect.
Yeah. Because Empire have just clearly were
right. They were just winning
owning
all
the tournament scene. Yeah.
Well, if you watch Dustin Howard play them, you might think
you might think that actually
they're a really solid army, Empire of Dust. I really like them for tournament play and for scenario play. The only thing that sort of separates them in my mind from for the wet undead is their heroes. They just don't have the same support options that other undead do.
Mm-hmm.
The wet undead.
Dry and wet undead, yeah. Empire just a dry undead.
That's gross.
Undead or wet undead. That works.
I think the unlocks too, because undead have so many unlock options, whereas Empire of Dust really, I mean, the units you're seeing here are their unlocks.
But they have some fantastic options there. The Slave Guardians are regular, aren't they? I think
the archers are, but the combat ones I don't believe are.
All right.
Huh. And now it looks like maybe he's moving Julius to hit the catapult that doesn't have
the
shattering.
one.
And he may have taken back all of his charges over here on the right because he didn't think they were good. He's going to send the dragon into the other.
Okay, I like that.
If one is good, two is better.
Could he have seen that with the monolith in the way?
I don't know that he can see it. Well, how tall is the monolith? I think the monolith might only be 4. No, it's height 6.
I mean, obviously we can't do anything about that, but I imagine that there was no line of sight there.
Yeah, depends on exactly where the dragon was. It was over here, somewhere near.
Right,
Samacris.
It's moved now.
Yeah, well, there's always the undo button, but we're not going to say anything about it.
Right.
That might be something we could ask them later, but they probably won't remember.
Take a screenshot. Isn't that what we had to do in the last one? Okay, we need this screenshot. We need you to analyze it.
Yeah, we did. We had a very long discussion with folks in the comments about whether or not a charge was a legal option or not. So Patrick Zora-Allen took a screenshot, and then we brought it up after the game and drew on it and everything. And our eventual consensus was that it was a legal charge. And the question was,
chat.
right? Well, no, the people on the chat thought thought that it was a legal charge as well, and that was one of the things is the player didn't take the charge, and we were like, oh, but we think he can, and like the crux of the argument was, the rules say you're supposed to pivot as little as possible to legally complete the charge. So if the shortest pivot that kind of puts you facing the unit leaves you nowhere to adequately pick up and place, but if you pivoted a little more and went a little further and hit the unit a little further back and then picked up and placed, then there would be room. Is that legal to do? Is it legal to pivot all the way until you have a legal charge, or do you have to stop as soon as you're lined up with the unit? Our eventual thing was like, well, the rule I think says you pivot as little as possible until you have a legal charge.
Yeah, exactly. So if you couldn't, at the first point you couldn't be placed, it's not legal. So you carry on pivoting until it could be legal.
And it was basically like a night regiment next to a building, and the night regiment hung out the back of the building a little bit, and it was a chariot, and so it was just a question of like, can the chariot turn and go in between the building and the night regiment, touch the night regiment on the back corner, and then pick up and place behind the building? He didn't do the charge, but like after talking about it, we were all like, yeah, we think that's something you could legally do. Looks like he's moved on to shooting,
and it looks like he's decided to hang back on the end. In the end,
yep,
on the top right.
Which is
those double charges into the war machines are nice because he's going to be in great positions after this turn.
Yeah,
and they're far enough back that there's like to turn anything in and surge, you need a pretty good surge to get there.
Yeah. And there aren't great options for that pivot and surge because the archers, Enslaved Guardian archers, like they're not that scary.
No, not really.
And there's two things back there, so even if you can get one thing there, you still either have a dragon or a Julius hanging out back there.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that he does the combat on the Enslaved Guardians first, because then he can decide which way he points the dragon and Julius.
Looks like he is, so that's 8 hits from the dragon. And that's 6 wounds, 7 wounds.
2 well.
Right, crushing 3.
So someone was saying in the group, in the chat too, did Julius even have range to get to the back catapult instead of the front one?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So blatantly cheating.
Padley, you're on live stream, my dude.
20 inches would be right around here, so it was close.
It was close.
Okay, well then.
So it looks like the Enslaved Guardians have held to that double charge from the dragon and the Elohi. And the men-at-arms have valiantly done 1 wound.
Yeah.
The men-at-arms have valiantly done 1 wound to the mummies.
If you're Adam Ballard, who do you countercharge? Do you charge the giant into the flank of those men-at-arms again? Or
no, ignore the men-at-arms at this stage.
Right. And then who do the Enslaved Guardians going into? I would hit the dragon, right? Ground it?
I would ground as much as you can. Go for the dragon, turn the giant around and surge it into the Elohi. Just ground whatever you can at that stage.
Yeah.
To be honest, we've only caught Padley cheating twice. There might be more. He has to cheat now. He doesn't have his goblin crutch.
I think that might be all of the combats.
So which way did he end up facing? Oh, he's just repositioning them now. I want to know where he placed the dragon and Julius.
Yeah.
I think the correct move is to face them both to the right, I would say. Oh no, it looks like he's putting Julius to the left.
Yeah, I agree. The right is where he needs the help.
But honestly, Julius could almost go like straighter.
Yeah.
And be, like,
you're right, actually, and have a bit of both. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't need the whole. You don't need to see the whole unit, do you? You just need to see that clip that corner.
Yeah. So I mean, like Julius could definitely be straighter, and then see pretty much
wide array. Yeah.
Wide array. Like you can see the soul snare too if you turned a little more, just for more options if you need it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Padley's in a great position right now. I know, I mean, if you look at the points, it's pretty neck and neck, but the difference is that he's got his flyers where he wants them largely, whereas Adam Ballard needs some luck here with these countercharges to pull some stuff off.
Yeah, he's got to kill some stuff here in the middle so we can turn around and face the stuff that's behind him right now.
Looks like he is countercharging the dragon.
Yep.
I would imagine he's going to try and do something to get the Elohi as well.
What's the drain life on the Cursed Priest? Could that be a tipping point there?
Yeah, it's like 9, 7, I think.
That's what I mean.
It's 9 on the Soul Snare and 7 on the Cursed High Priest. So he could turn the Soul Snare and double up. on the
I
dragon.
would double up on the dragon.
I
'cause
would,
he needs those
Absolutely.
enslaved guardians turning in, and the heal from them, if he can get it in range, would be really nice. Just as like icing on the cake.
Yeah, so I would definitely turn that bone giant and just let the monolith surge it into the Elohi.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then double up with drain lives on this dragon on your guardians, and give it.
Now, the interesting question
your
here
guardians
is,
back as many wounds as you can.
can the giant pivot on the spot?
Mm.
Because the rule says you must end your move further away than you started.
Oh yeah.
So
This
if you,
got
might
that
not
one
be able to.
before, so I think he can only pivot if he was going to charge. I don't think he can change.
so that's what I mean. So because you start effectively touching, and because the way the rule's worded, it doesn't say you can't end up closer. It says you must end up further away than where you started.
And we've had this discussion before, I think, on stream
Mm.
as well, that you can't.
No,
Oh,
it's-
well, there's
it's
that.
legging it.
I guess he could be trying
Looks
to
like
surge
it's
into the
Going for
dragon.
the other dragon.
I mean, he could definitely do that.
Yeah,
I don't know that I like that because now there's nothing to ground those Elohi. I mean, now is he planning on
I don't like that. I mean,
is he planning on throwing all the drain lives on those
Yeah.
Elohi to keep them from flying over and flanking something? Ugh.
But then if
But
your drain
maybe-
life fails, you've just left them and they're not grounded anymore.
It's turning
but I
into
suppose
Things
archers.
are getting
it's
juicy.
questionable whether he actually could turn to face the Elohai. I don't think he can.
Is this a type of list that Adam Padley would play? Because Adam Ballard is infamous for playing a lot of Silver Breeze Cav with the elves. So this is a very different list than what I would expect Ballard to play. So I
We
imagine
don't-
something that's coming into play.
So Adam kind of went through a Kings of War, rut recently. I think Padley, because obviously his list was very much the flea bags and the running around, and he I think he absolutely loved that style of play, which was lots of very cheap things that can do lots of shots, and eventually it's a death by 1,000 cuts. And that list just doesn't exist anymore in Kings of War. Really, in any style of play. So I think he's sort of looking around now to try and find a new style that he likes. So he's
Gotcha.
been playing quite a few games with these, lots of dragons, lots of things. I think he's got undead variants of it and different. If you look here, the models are actually all undead. That's because he's painting
I
up.
did notice that.
Yeah, he's painting up a multi-use army that you can sort of use for lots of different armies. Mainly because the joke is that whenever Adam builds a list, the rules committee nerf it for him straight away. So if he makes it a multi-use army, at least he can get a few seasons out of it before they nerf it entirely into oblivion.
I love it.
Sure.
Because
So Shobik certainly is going to polish off. So Shobik certainly is going to polish off these men at arms over here. He has turned the soul snare to face left, and he's got lots of options there. He can shoot at High Paladin, Dragon.
The soul snare is an interesting. It's in a tough spot because you can't pivot to face of threats in the rear because then you got you're swapping one rear charge for another one. I mean, I see why he's doing it, but I don't know largely what benefit you can get beyond just killing the men at arms.
I mean, it doesn't have. I don't know that it has range on anything
the
other than
soul
the Dragon
snare-
kills 3, 6, 9, 12.
It's a war engine,
18,
the soul snare.
It's a war engine,
I'm
right?
sorry, not the soul snare. The monster dude attacking the men at arms. What's his face? Shobik.
Oh,
Oh,
the
Shobik.
Shobik.
Shobik. So I was gonna be like, Soul
Sorry.
Snare is like already triple attack.
Sorry,
Is he-
Shobik
is he
charging into the
hoping-
men at arms.
Is he hoping that he can reform the Horde to use it to block Shobik next turn?
It looks like
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's a nice move. I didn't see the flank charge on them, so that makes sense.
And he's moved these skeleton spears up, kind of protect the flank of the bone giant. Left the bone giant in the woods.
Yeah.
So that kind of cuts off a double charge option.
But you've still got a dragon.
You still got a
He's
dragon.
really counting on. I mean, he should be able to get
12. 15, 18.
the-
Yeah, the dragon get the soul stare next round.
How far away are both those surges? Because I'm guessing he's going to have to prioritize the archers. The 4-inch surge.
1, 2, 3.
Just
Just
over 3.
surge there. And 1, 2, 3, and a 4-inch surge on the other side as well.
So if he fails the first one, he has to go again, I think, on the archers, because
Yeah.
there's no point grounding a dragon that can still just walk forward.
He does have surge 8 twice, so it is average rolls for both of them to get them, but
So-
you know.
But we,
UV
as we
dice are not
saw,
average dice. Right.
No,
Last thing you wanna do
because he needs 4 now, he'll definitely get it. It was because he needed 1. So he
no,
was
but
at
see,
risk.
now that he needs 4, he'll get 8, and you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
what? It'd be worse if
I
he
think-
gets 8 on just one of them and 1 on the other.
Do either of these have the skeleton keyword? Doesn't the Cursed High Priest get some kind of rerolls against?
I don't
Skeletons.
think so.
I don't know. This isn't my army. I don't know.
He has
No,
Reanimator,
yeah,
which
whatever,
does something.
When
seem to
targeting
remember
friendly
he gets
core
roll up
skeleton
to
units,
2.
you
Yeah,
can roll up to 2 of the dice that fail with heal and surge. Okay,
So it's
anything
core
with the
skeleton.
key.
I would
So do
imagine
they-
only the warriors and the spears have it.
The bone giant has the skeleton keyword.
Really? That's
and
Very
nice.
nice.
The archers do not.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can reroll heal and surge on both giants.
So he's looking for a long surge into the flank of that giant there. Do you think he's going to try a double surge? The enslaved guardians in the front, the giant in the flank?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you have to prioritize the archers, don't you? Because there's no point grounding it if it can then just wander off.
Right. This is a good point.
So this is another instance where the monolith having to go first kind of sucks because the Cursed High Priest can re-roll on the bone giant, but not on the archers.
Yeah.
And you would kind of want to try. Yeah. Ugh.
What's interesting here, if he does get that surge in, Julius is only height 3, so actually you're blocking off a good amount of what Julius can see as well. So
His
you're almost forcing him to
visibility,
go left.
Yep.
To the left, to the left.
No.
Leave me alone, Jake.
All right. That should be. All right, here we go. Try to figure out what to do with this Cursed High Priest. Or about to be ready for shooting. I think he's pretty much moved everything at this point. So this is a pretty critical turn for Adam Ballard here.
Yeah, I mean, this is you need to make it back or you're just slowly descending into the jaws of defeat, right? I mean,
Yeah, like you need to ground everything you can, pick up everything you can, and reform in ways that doesn't give Adam Padley convenient side or rear charges with.
Of course, every time I feel like I say that in one of these casts, the player who I think is like inevitably losing pulls it back and wins at the end. So
In some glorious manner. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm guessing as well he's going to put Drain Life into the dragon, isn't he, to really triple down on it.
I would imagine so. I mean,
So I'm guessing that's the monolith's surge on the
Mhm.
bone giant. Looks like
Ooh,
only getting 2
That's a-
inches.
that's an
Ooh.
interesting choice. Why focus on that one?
I
Because if you
wonder
get
if
the
he's hoping that the flank plus the soul snare is enough just to pop it in one go.
I
That's
guess, but
not a great. I agree.
Well, so I guess if you had the monolith surge the archers and the monolith put them all the way in, you wouldn't get a chance to shoot with the archers before you surged in.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Since the monolith has to go first.
do the archers even get to shoot? Don't they have reload?
Yes,
They have
Oh,
pot
no,
shot.
it's-
They have pot
Yeah,
shot.
pot shot.
yeah. So that's why they've
which is
taken half
happening,
shots.
yeah. And here's your drain
Because
life.
unfortunately, the
Ooh.
giant now gets a rear
8
charge
hits.
from the Aloe, and I know
Yeah.
Aloe aren't as good as they were, but a rear
5
charge
damage.
with them.
That's going to be five
Yeah.
wounds on
Yeah,
drain life.
no, you're right. That will hurt with the. That's a lot of attack still.
That's 27 attack.
Right.
Yeah, a good amount of damage though. 6 damage on him first. I mean, you still got to get in now though.
So
Yeah.
who do you think he emphasizes getting in? I think the giant at this point, because it's closer.
think-
'Cause
I
it's
think
closer
so, yeah.
and he can re-roll, yeah. He can re-roll 2 to
Closer,
fail. with the-
brutal. Get
Plus
better in
against brutal.
combat.
The unfortunate thing is, as you pointed out, Elliot, if he doesn't kill it, it essentially accomplishes nothing, right?
just
It
needs
runs off. It's
2
got
and
plenty of charges
gets
there.
3, so that should do it. Yep.
It's going to be a hard kill, is that one? Yeah, it's Fearless 19 still.
Yeah.
Fearless 19. He's got 6 wounds
Nice
on him,
hits on
so
fours.
With brutal, so fearless 18 equivalent. It's not bad
Yeah.
odds.
No,
it's
it's not.
dicey,
It's,
but
Giants can be so swingy.
yeah.
yeah.
Trust me,
So
I
if he
play
does
a
a good six,
giant
if he does like 6 wounds, he's in pretty good shape because then he only needs a 6 twice. He does any more than 6, he's in really good shape.
It can really bone you if it rolls really badly.
You mean the
Don't
bone
fall.
giant can bone you?
Yep.
Man, you guys are just racking up sound clips that I have to cut out to turn into.
No, I think the
Bone you.
alcohol we
Bone
drink
you.
is getting you sound clips.
I don't know if you all saw
oh.
Jess walk over a couple
straight
minutes
into-
ago with
straight into
another
combat.
shot.
Damage.
That's going to be 10 wounds
Oh
Yeah.
on a
my!
bone giant and a
Damn.
12 and a 5. That
That's
5
what
will
he
get the
wants to
dragon.
see.
And that'll do it, folks.
So here,
It's one
which
dragon
way does he
down.
pivot now? Because he's going to get a flank charge from something, probably. I don't think he can keep the Eloy and Julius out of
Can we,
rear / flanks.
Can we also just check it? Are the guardian archers? Are they still in the trees? Have they got a toe in the trees there?
They are.
Yeah, they are.
Just barely touching.
So, so there's a dragon up there as well, and they're looking at them.
Oh, yeah, that's a good catch. I don't know if they'll
6,
see
9,
that.
12, 15, 18. I think he's out of there. I think they're out of his 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
just
his range ends there. All right, Guardian Enslaved Guardians.
no,
Wow.
it's a hard one, but if you can, gosh,
Which
Is
way
he
did
gonna
he
hurt?
turn the giant?
oh, he's picked up another one.
Just picked up the other dragon.
That's a big
Wow.
deal.
He has left the giant facing Julius. Oof, that is a very big deal.
There you
That
are.
is 2 out of 3.
That's
Dragon's
what,
gone in 1 turn.
700-ish
That's
point swing?
huge for.
That's 630.
630 point swing? Yeah, gosh.
That is big. So yeah, Adam
That
Ballard
is big.
needs something big to happen this turn, and picking up 2 dragons will definitely do it.
There we are.
I'm sorry, Padley, for jinxing you. As I said, inevitably, if I say he's a downward spiral right now, then
And it's not so much anymore.
Oh, it's going to be another draw, isn't it?
What do we
Oh,
have
no.
for points right now? Where are we at?
Hold on. 1 moment.
It's more the fact that they're all losing pieces. They can kill things, aren't they? So it's
Seeing here if the mummies can pick up these fresh men-at-arms. I don't think it will be able to.
no,
3 wounds now.
definitely not.
So if I'm Julius now, I polish off the Slave Guardians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The Elohai, I would send into the Soul Snare now, I think.
The Eloy could hit the flank of the Bone Giant too, but I agree, Soul Snare.
Yeah,
Just pivot then afterwards, right?
Yeah.
because there's a lot of nerve in the in that giant, though, isn't there?
Yeah. So you hit the rear of the Enslaved Guardian Archers, you hit the Soul Snare, then you pivot to probably face, probably block with the Eloy, and then the dragon faces inwards, maybe?
Is it a flank or a rear on the slave guard?
Good
It's
call,
a
might be a
flank.
flank.
It's a
Julius
flank.
should do that. 16
Still
attacks.
do it,
Yeah, 16 attacks, 3s with elite, crushing 3.
No, I'm
Red.
talking about the
Good.
Enslaved Guardian Archers. Does the dragon have
Oh,
a
yeah.
rear or a flank over there in the
Uh,
woods?
It doesn't have range.
Oh, right.
well,
And there's a
15,
forest
18.
blocking. Oh no, because he's on the hill. I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We
Well,
we
and
forgot
because
one combat.
the archers are just barely in the forest.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, it's a moot point.
So that's another 105 points for Adam
So
Ballard
Padley's
there.
he's in a bad place right now.
He's in a wee bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
And a wee bit of
We could just keep saying Adam's in a bad place and then nondescript. It'll be great.
best commentary ever.
You get what you
I
pay
am
for, folks.
helping.
You get what you pay for.
What you pay. Subscribe to our channel.
Or you can get us mess.
All right.
So yeah, I do. I think Julius has to finish off those Enslaved Guardians on the left.
So at this point in the match, do you start looking at conservative ways to pull points off to reduce your loss to the littlest amount possible? Or as Padley, do you still try to hunt for that like Hail Mary win?
I don't think Padley's chance of winning is gone.
You don't think so? Okay.
It's tricky because, like, as you said, losing those 2 pieces was huge.
Sure. Yeah.
And a lot of points has gone there, but you do still have. That's that side of it here. You do, you've still got Julius and another dragon and 2 Elohai regiments.
Yep.
Um,
And he did just sidestep Shobik, so he's well behind the woods, so Julius can't see his rear anymore.
you've also got an opportunity this time to this turn to really do damage to Adam Ballard's biggest damage dealers, which are the horde of guardians, and you can take off that soul snare, which is the reason that dragon died is the soul snare, because you put all that damage on to start
Right,
with.
that's true.
I don't think Adam will play conservatively because I don't think he's done the maths to figure out where he is.
So, the other thing is, Brinley in the chat asked if it's Northern Kings, is there really a minimizing loss factor? He's like, there isn't really a minimizing
it's
loss
not
factor, right?
it's not an attrition delta.
You
so
wouldn't
Yeah.
change your
you're kind of
score,
encouraged to go all in.
but you probably want to change because this is the final round, right? There might be one more. But like if you're looking at it as like, let's say this is the final round and you're both higher placers, you want to decrease the amount of points that your opponent gets, even if that costs you. You know what I mean?
Isn't this like round 3 of 6?
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is round 3 of 6.
Oh,
This is
round 3 of
mid-tournament.
6. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jake
Sure.
is
Essentially,
on
7.
point.
I
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about. I'm a professional.
No, and that's the sort of the whole point with having Northern King scoring is that because it's positive only. There's no harm in going for it because you're not going to give away any points, and you can't lose anything for yourself. You can only gain more. You could, in theory, I suppose, fly off and go for one of the objectives. But if you're flying your 300-point dragon for an objective, you don't deserve to have your dragon, and it gets taken away from you.
Sure.
You
Definitely
should-
Oh, it
biases
literally
you
shows up
towards
to your house and just
action
takes your
late
dragon
game.
model and leaves.
It's okay. I know where he lives, so I can do. I'll go get
I
it.
do
I'm
like
not allowed
that,
to leave the house. I'm in lockdown, but
You're in lockdown.
Yeah.
I will
That
go
would make it
retrieve
so
my
much
dragon.
worse.
Oh, well, he's seen it. Is he in range?
What
Has it just
what-
assumed he's in range?
what dragon is this that he thinks he's going to charge?
That
with?
is Padley cheating
That's
again.
the only dragon
6,
left.
9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20. Now he's
Yeah,
like
he's
an inch and a
not in
half
range.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sneaky.
Sneaky little Padley.
You say that, he's like 6'9". He's
I
not all
don't
that
know
little.
how tall anyone is. We all see each other online.
When we
We're all
first
the
met
same size on the internet.
when we first met the Canadian guys, Mike Rossi and I were talking, and they thought Rossi was me and I was Rossi because on the cast, Rossi's presence is much larger than mine.
I love it. I don't really have a hard time getting mistaken for other people.
I won't talk about height too much because I'm 6'3", Tom's 6'2", Adam's like 6'8", and Nick isn't. So
I was going to say I've met Nick and I don't
say.
remember him towering over me.
no,
So Nick basically looks like a hobbit standing next to the rest of you.
I wouldn't say that, but I will laugh when you do.
But I wouldn't correct you if you said it.
Oddly, Nick Williams is one of the few people from the Kings of War scene that my wife actually like recognizes the name of, despite him living in a different country.
The amount of stuff Nick has done for the Kings of War community is unbelievable. When you actually start adding it all up,
It's actually because he gave us a tour of York when we were on our honeymoon.
Yeah. Well, the amount Nick does when people come over as well is crazy.
amazing.
Yeah,
He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, it's too bad he was scheduled to come to my event this year.
Yeah, I was really
he
looking
was,
forward
yeah.
to hang out with him.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to having him. Too
I
bad.
was going to bring a bunch of Old Bay flavored food and try to subject him to that.
The crab
Yeah,
chips?
There's more than just crab chips with Old Bay.
Sure. Skeptical.
Yeah, I don't know that I like this chart that he's lining up.
No, I don't love it at all.
I don't think you get that horde with front charge from the dragon and a flank charge from the Alohian one.
And
That's a
then you
big nerf
almost
one.
definitely lose the
Yeah,
Aloha
Then you-
if you don't get it.
yeah, you definitely eat. I mean, you got a bone giant and Shobek just waiting
Yeah, isn't that dash 22 nerf?
on the skeletons. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Dash 22 inspired by Shobek.
concerned.
Even if you get him, it's not great position because he's still got 2 monsters ready to come in and at least ground you.
I think he's nervous now about flying around the back again because I think he thinks the same thing will happen again.
Right.
Little spooked.
But you've got the option to shut down some of the stuff that caused it last time.
Like the soul snare and stuff like that.
The soul snare is a huge one, yeah.
If you hit there in the soul snare, you're like right in the middle of everything, right?
Exactly. I would be tempted to charge the dragon into the monolith because is it facing down now?
It is. Well? It is facing away. Yeah. And
it's taking the charge. Is it latest units?
Yeah. And the monolith does count as a titan, so you can get the rear on it. Yeah, I don't think that's a great charge. Is that a desperation charge? Is that a screw it? Let's go all in and try to pick up something, or?
But I feel like if you go screw it, let's pick up something. Picking up a -22 horde is like.
That's not what I would pick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this skeleton spearman regiment is a much easier unit to pick up, but then you're still very close to a couple of pretty scary monsters that can easily surge.
I think it's the monsters that he's worried about, because those together will do quite a lot of damage to the dragon.
I guess at least this way, like if he manages to pop that horde, he can reposition so that the Elohi are protecting the dragon. So I
don't like that. He's using Julius to. So he is doubling down, but I'm not sure why he sent the Elohi in.
I would have sent
Julius
across.
do that. Soul snare.
Kill the soul snare.
It's the moral victory.
The soul snare is one of those choices, though, that because of the way it works, like it can really. I mean, we saw it with the dragon, right? It can just really tack those odds up, and it's positive.
Drain life is massive. Drain life is easily the most overpowered spell in the game, and he's the most
when you have
underrated.
Drain life 18 inches, right?
Yeah. Drain life is one of those spells that people don't seem to have on the radar enough because there's only a select few armies that can use it.
And it's only 6 inches, right? So you tailor yourself, it's not a problem.
But
normally,
then when you're taking the drain life into combat, and
unless you're Morgoth, then you can just fly 20 and still do it.
Exactly, yeah. So
we don't talk about Morgoth.
It does 3 things at once. It's super brutal. So it adds the combat you're in, it does extra damage, and it heals. So it's just
it heals something else,
Yeah.
The total swing. I love it. All right, so into combat.
Where'd we start? Oh, okay. I think.
So I think it's the skeletons. No?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
I don't know what he's doing there.
The skeletons, yep.
And he did it.
Wow.
Surprising, but I mean, also not.
I mean,
I guess, what is that, 18 hits on 20 dice?
Is that? As we all squint at the screen to try to figure out.
Hold on, let me just get my finger real close up here.
You rolled them too fast.
Why did he have 20 dice?
I don't know. Why do you have 30 dice?
I think he rolled 30, maybe messed up, and then rolled 20. I don't know.
It's not 20. It's 18. Oh, yeah. No, he's done that. Yeah, he's done 30, 20. 30 is wrong, 20 is wrong, 18 is right. Well, we know he can't spell. Apparently, he can't add either.
Apparently, there's a mind screech doing something.
Whoa!
Where did this mind screech come from?
I think he's using the mind screech as a proxy for the giants over there to make sure they can't get on anything. What? All right, so he killed a skeleton warrior horde worth 140 points. Okay, update the sheet. Keep an accurate running total. Usually in Kings of War, you can just eyeball where the objectives are based on the scenario, but for kill, if you want to know how the game is going, you actually have to do the math.
Can I start a petition that if we're doing the skill scenario with objectives to have like round circular tokens that are a bright, distinct color from terrain or character pieces as the objectives? For the love of God.
I think it's a UB thing, not a us thing, right? Because if you got to pick something that's terrain so you can lock it. Otherwise, you end up picking up the objectives by accident and fucking all up.
Well,
see, that's showing that
what I did on my game was I put terrain down for the tokens, but then put the tokens on top of them. so you can see them easily. But then if you do accidentally move it, you know where it was.
Oh, wait, those skeletons were facing backwards? Is what was in the chat?
No, I think I think we eventually figured it out with the dice. He rolled it wrong twice, and then finally rolled it right.
Felix said they place circles on top of their terrain, their objectives, which is a good
That's not
idea
a bad
too.
idea either. But I feel that way even on tables sometimes, like in IRL. I made tokens that are like gold gems because sometimes you get people will be like, "Here's my black token that I'm going to put on this very dark board,"
hidden away.
And then we're always like, "Where's the sixth one?"
You always have that because you always have. Where is it? It's somewhere under those units. I've no idea where.
That one's fine, but when there's no units, you're like, "We're still missing one."
The best thing is finding out your tokens are slightly magnetic and having magnets on the bottom of your bases because you put your base, your unit on top, and you're like, it's on top of it, and you move your unit, they're like, I thought there was a token there. You look under, you're like, oh, there is.
So he killed the enslaved guardians with Julius and
unsurprising, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's interesting here because I was saying, why didn't he charge the Elohai? But he has kind of re-established his net a bit. Obviously, it's 2 dragons shorter than it was, which is a lot less. But yeah, he's taken off the big heavy hitter, which was the worry for his dragons. I don't know. It's
sort of tightening the circle, and then the undead's just trying to Empire of Dust just trying to punch it out a little bit, right? But
I'm feeling a draw.
You got a draw tingling?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Giants and Shobik are still on the table, which is the thing that lets me feel like Empire of Dust has a slight edge, because all the surge for Empire of Dust is still on the table, too.
Yeah,
there's also a lot of points in the Shobik and the Giants.
Right.
Like,
and I don't see how you get those safely.
So he got the enslaved guardians. Did he kill anything else?
Yeah. Kill the guardians, killed obviously the skeleton horde you saw. That's all.
That's it. Okay.
We still have 2 turns left.
Yeah. So that's going to be a grounded Julius, which is a.
So that brings the scores much closer, but Adam Ballard is still up by 360 points, and he only needs to win by 230.
Did the Elohai have? Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, do we know like what it's been like for where? Because people get to choose how many points they bring for their games. Have we seen like much of like a spread, or have been people taking like 2,300? Because I've seen a lot of 2,300 games.
So it's been about 50. I think last round was 58%, 2,300, and then the rest of the percentage was a mixture of everything else, sort of within that really. It's definitely seems in Universal Battle that 2,300 is kind of where the point levels the community are sort of agreed on. Whenever I see games like pickup games on the Facebook page, they're always 2,300 now.
Okay.
I blame the U.S. Masters for creeping the points up and somehow establishing the new norm when they're like, oh, we want to try something different. Stop doing more points, guys. And I can say that now that I'm not in the committee. So
it's tricky because I think for 3rd edition, I actually do agree with the extra points. We've always played 2K in the UK. That's always, but it's just been forever. And I think we're slowly looking at doing 2,300 more now because you just can't build lists as easily at 2,000 points. And I think that some armies really suffer at 2,000 points in 3rd edition, especially with the amount of irregular that's been brought in.
That's a solid point. I like lower points because of how much more friendly they are towards starting a new army and jumping in, which at this point in the edition, I'd like to see lower points for easier jump in point. But from a pure balance standpoint, I guess I can hear that, feedback and think, yeah, okay, I see that.
But then I think if you're talking about Masters jumping the points levels up to 2,300 and kind of getting that, most people aren't just like jumping in if you're going to Masters. So like that's kind of a place for
The problem is the Masters discussion is always that this is the Masters, and so people don't have to do this, but Masters seems to not be willing to accept that they then set the dynamic for the rest of the tournament season across the country. So they're like, because last year they said, let's do 2250. No one's done that. And then every event after that and before that did 2250. And they said, well,
people practice, don't they? And people want to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, people practice for that, and so many of the people that go to Masters are TOs, and
So
they go and they
gonna
see
use
it,
it.
and then they go back, and so many people who are Masters players have their army ready for that.
And I don't think any of us want to see like 2,500 points become the standard, right? Because that's just way too much.
Yeah.
And like if Masters keeps creeping points up, because first year is 2,000, then it was 2,250, then it just keeps booping up. And I say that fully being friends with everybody on the committee who's making the decisions. But
that was a regen roll on the mummies, picking up 2 of the wounds that they have on them.
The one thing I always used to love about 2,000 points in second edition was that it made you make choices. You had to. You couldn't have everything. 2,300 in second edition just felt like you got all of your toys. Whereas I think in third edition, it's needed a little bit more, just for some armies, and it's a shame, really. I think that the irregular sort of drive went a bit far for some armies, but it wasn't done uniformly. Don't know if you saw my blog moaning about Twilight Kin. They really suffer for unlocks, and I think at 2,000 points that would get a lot worse.
Soul Snare only pulls 1 wound on those Alohi, but the Bone Giant did successfully surge into Julius. So I guess he's hoping to shoot the hell out of the Alohi.
I found that too is like I was trying to write my Kingdoms of Men list, and I wrote one that I liked at 2,300, and I tried to write one at 2,000, and I was like, I don't like any of this. I don't want any of this.
What's really interesting, I think that the best way to write a really strong 2,300 list is write a really strong 2K list and then add another toy to it. It's much easier to add points than it's to take them away.
Yeah,
we found. So when we started playing at 2,300, we looked at our old 2,000 point list and said, what did I always want that I couldn't have before? But whereas now I'm used to playing 2,300, it's really hard to go back to 2,000.
Yeah.
I'm running an event that's more of a like small casual event that's 1,500 points, so it's going to be a really big difference. But with the ideas is letting people jump into the game because it's at a convention that's primarily like GW focused. So people who want to play can jump in.
Absolutely. Shooting coming up pretty light against these Alohi.
So 5 damage.
Only 5 wounds.
Yeah.
And they're dash 14, so he's going to need a 9 twice to get rid of them there. That is a tall order. Right. And a little disappointing for a Soul Snare, First High Priest, and some Guardian Archers.
Did it have cover from the Guardian Archers? Because the Guardian Archers are hitting 5 natively.
I don't think so.
I don't actually.
And there's the nerve check.
They're fine.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
Yep.
So now we're on to combat. Looks like there's going to be Shobik on the Alohi on the other side.
Oh no, it's on CS3, isn't it? Thought hit on falls.
Once again, UB dice.
5 damage.
Right.
5 damage. Only 5 damage from Shobik. Okay.
But then 8 hits from the skeletons. And another 3 more. So it's not terrible. Has the idol got brutal? Looks like he's dead.
He does not.
Yeah. That's a shame. It would have been nice for Padley for that to survive.
So on Padley's turn, looking at this, what do you do? Do you take the flank charge into the Guardian Archers with the dragon?
I think it depends what the idol does here. I wouldn't take the flank charge because you shouldn't kill it in one, and then you've got the bone giant in your flank.
I guess because you're hindered, that's why you don't kill it in a go.
Yeah. We've already plugged the stream, Matt.
Where were you, Matt?
There was a full professional promo that obviously I didn't do.
I was going to plug it again. Don't worry.
Well, now I don't know if they deserve it. Matt's not even paying attention. Just kidding.
We'll have an audience. Don't worry. We got this.
We're fine. My laptop is so hot.
So I think what you're seeing here is just the effect that having a defensive surge heavy list can have on this type of alpha strike list, where a couple charges don't go wrong and you just envelop in, like we were talking about early on.
That's a bold move. So he's exposed his flank to the dragon,
Yes,
the idol. He's just saying, "I've got this much nerve. I don't really care."
Right.
So I mean, what is that on the? Is that the skeleton regiment that's right there?
Spearman,
So I would take that flank charge. Like, it's
Yeah.
the best. It's potentially 300-point swing.
It does mean though that you're going to get, if you don't kill it, you're going to have the idol and a bone giant and a.
All right, moving on to bottom of turn 5.
I'm ready.
It'd be interesting what he does with the Aloha here. Soul Snare. Do the Soul Snare again.
Soul Snare. I think we just have it out against this Soul Snare. I'm like, he doesn't need to kill anything.
I have a moral.
Screw that Soul Snare.
Every time you kill the Soul Snare, you win the moral victory. Doesn't matter what the result of the game is. You've won the moral victory there. I hate those things with a passion.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, obviously, it's not the same list that I'm playing with Undead, but like you say, Jake, a surge defensive list. I don't know if it's so much the surge as he's got some surge, but he's also got the shooting. He's got he had the catapult. He's got the drained life. That sort of like combined arms grindy effect that you can do with Undead, and apparently you can also do with Empire of Dust. Seems pretty strong these days.
I mean, that's what I mean. Things like Drain Life have really shown their worth here, haven't they? Of the things you can just add onto the combat just to tip them over the edge. Padley's list has to kill things quickly. I don't think he was expecting to lose his dragons quite so fast. He lost both of them in one round of combat.
Yeah, like if he had lost one, I think he would have been like, that sucks, but I think he would have been in a lot better position than he is now. And there's also still that that Ballard has that little bit of shooting to pick some things off too, even if Padley gets manages to kill something off.
So Julius looks like it's disengaged. I mean, Julius has got a flank on the mummies, but it's not. Yeah. I don't like it because then it's a rear surge next turn.
Yeah.
What you doing? Oh, Chad, yeah, right there.
Yeah,
I thought he was just turning next to it.
I thought he was just like going to put himself in that flank, and I was like, "Sir, you definitely couldn't see that."
So it's charge the front there.
That's the front. Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that.
No.
So it looks like the mummies wavered. These men at arms is that?
Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's in a really rough spot here.
He is. Is it a front charge for the mummies on the Aloha? I'm guessing it is. Yeah, looks it.
Ooh, yeah, that's awfully close. Probably front.
And hindered as well. Then, if it is front.
Yeah.
I don't like the charge of the mummies. Are the mummies worth all that many points? They're not doing a whole lot where they are there.
Yeah, I mean mummies are 180, but they're defense 5 and dash 18. And they regen, and he's got heal.
Yeah, they regen 5 and life.
It just seems Adam's going for the biggest, toughest targets at the minute. There's softer targets out there that are worth a good amount of points.
Right.
I think the point of offering the flank is that your surge options now are massively opened up to the bottom right of the board. It's risky, but if you're facing up, then you've got to do a full 180 to turn around again, which means you're not getting surged anywhere. Whereas by having him facing to the left, he can now move and then be surged.
Yeah,
I actually quite like the choice there of offering the flank.
Yeah, because even if the dragon takes the flank, if he doesn't break it, which is a fair chance, then
pretty good shot killing
the dragon's getting flanked. Yeah.
And you've got the bone giant here. Since the dragon is wider than Shobek, the bone giant will be able to come and catch the corner here. He's a strider. He won't care that he's coming out of the forest.
Drain life
spears here. Yeah, and you drain life from the soul snare. You can throw these.
Still what's charge the soul snare.
How many times can we say soul snare? That's fine.
Full snare, nope, I can't.
Nope.
Bit of a tongue tire there.
A tongue tire.
Okay, that's enough out of you.
It's like a circular tongue that runs your car.
I'm glaring if you can't tell.
I can't.
Are Canadians required to smile even while glaring?
Yes.
Is that a national thing?
So he has taken the flank, hindered flank into the
Yep.
Oh.
Into
and
the
front.
archers.
So he's doubling up again.
Yep. Which is what you want to do with an alpha strike list, right? Like you want to look for convenient flank charges and places where you can double up on things.
Is it convenient that he keeps doing these these risky charges, doesn't he? Where that
And he's like, maybe I'm not in the woods. No, I'm definitely. I mean, of the available charges here, like that's probably the best one because it's something he can double up on and get a flank on.
But look at the idol. The idol.
Yeah, I know.
The idol can see.
The idol's just like, that's a juicy rear right there.
Yeah.
Even when he turns around, if he does kill him, that's still not nice.
There's some heal on the
Speaking of sound bites that you need to pull out, Ashley rubbing her hands and going, "That's a juicy rear right there." That's the new opening of Unplugged Radio right there.
Yeah.
This is why you guys let me do this, right? Just to say inappropriate, weird things online.
Just for the sound bites.
Just for
Absolutely.
sound bites. That's it.
All right, combat against these Guardian Archers.
11 hits.
Guardian Archers
10
are
damage.
dash 17.
Yeah.
17 defense 4.
Oh, just one more from the Aloha.
Just one from the
So
other,
Elliot,
yeah.
what charges would you have taken there instead of the double charge on the Guardian Archers?
I think you need to pick up soft points now. I'm not sure if Adam knows how close it is, but it's close. So I potentially would have charged the flank of the monolith with the dragon.
And just remove it.
Remove it, and then charge the Aloha into the soul snare. And hopefully remove it. He has killed the horde.
Let's pick them up. So that'll be 235 points.
But again, it's Dragon's now in a dangerous position. I would be looking to pick up the support pieces now rather than focus on the hordes. I mean, he's done a good job there and he's killed the horde. So I'd have been wrong, as it turns out. But I just think that there's quite a lot of fairly soft, a decent amount of points that you can pull yourself back into that draw position.
Sure.
Draws.
Do you think it's probably the
draws.
difference though? I think Alex Chavez on the first one of these I was on talked about the difference between in these situations playing for the draw versus playing for the win. And I think if you're playing for the win, you got to do those a little bit more chancier charges, right?
Yeah, I mean, both these players have already lost a game this event, and
Which
so
means they're pretty much out of it, right?
Yeah, they're out of winning anyway. So actually, yeah, at this stage you play for the win, I suppose.
But the other
that
thing
is
too,
that is not going to be enough to get that bone giant. And
No, definitely
the
not.
point difference right now is exactly 230 in favor of Adam Ballard,
8 damage.
which is enough for the win.
But the other thing I was thinking too is like, when people are playing kill, are they really sitting there at home being like, hold on, let me do the math every turn.
Right.
How much am I at?
I'll have you know, I was because
Okay, well, that's
I was on
enough.
stream. I was on stream and didn't want to make a fool of myself. But it's the first time I've ever done it.
Yeah, like I've never done that in kill, and I don't know if that makes me a bad player, but
Actually,
you may not realize how close it is.
as you know, when we've played each other, I've been like, so what's like the points difference? Or did you win it? And you'll be like, Jake, you won it a lot. And I'll be like, oh, cool.
Like you 19-2'd me. Like you got 19 points.
Can I just point out that Julius just did 8 out of 8 damage on that bone giant?
That is
phenomenal.
Julius is a boss.
Yeah. But
I will
didn't
erect
pick it
a
up,
statue.
so
BRB.
Didn't kill it, no.
didn't kill it, and yeah, that's going to get like most of that's going to get drained life back. Probably.
It is interesting to see such an alpha strike Basilia list when, generally most people talking about Basilia have been talking about like Ogre Palace Guard and more of a grind build.
Yeah.
Though I think everybody acknowledges the dragon's ridiculously good.
It is good, but I'm not as sold as some people.
But it might have been nice with some Ogre Palace Guard in there.
Yeah. I've told Adam before that I think his list it's a bit gimmicky.
Mhm.
I think it leans a bit too far into the. You found a very good unit, and you take 3 of them. This list, I think, would really benefit from, like you say, a couple of hordes of Ogre Palace Guard.
It's a little bit too close to a list I'd see Keith Randall run, where he's just taking the most broken stuff and just really emphasizing it. I'm saying
To be
that,
honest-
hoping Keith watches this at some point and texts me.
I mean, a version of Adam's list that I sent him that I prefer is to swap out one of the dragons for a Night Horde, because then you don't need to take the men at arms, so you save the points there. And I think it's just a lot killier.
Yeah.
Because that unit just kills anything it touches.
Well, the problem we saw in the matchup like this is that the men at arms just don't do much, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just there to hold things up.
And you got 5 of them, but you don't need them for the unlocks, do you? Or
Yeah, you need all
Julius and
5, I think.
Samacris? Are
Right,
Julius
because
and
you've got
Samacris-
the 3 characters and the 3 monsters and the 2 characters. Yeah.
But I mean, he does have 550 points or 525 points tied up in Men in Arms. I think there are a lot.
Samacris and Julius are listed as hero large infantry.
Yeah, so it's still a hero slot, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Hey, Mike,
a
can
hero
we just
slot,
zoom
but-
into this corner a little bit so I can see it better because nothing else is happening on the board? Thank you.
Sure thing.
Thanks.
Oh, that's interesting. So he can, if he charges the idol, he's going to need more than a 90-degree pivot. So the surge at least will be the full. Oh, hang on. I'm fairly certain that was more than 90.
So he's using 3 Titan unlocks for the High Paladin on Dragon. He's using 2 character unlocks for Julius and Samacris.
They're all heroes, so it doesn't matter what.
Right.
Oh, they're all here. Oh, I see. The
Yeah.
High Paladin Dragon are all heroes, so he does need 5 unlocks. Okay.
Which is
Nice.
the only reason he's got 5 men at arms.
Which is the only reason. Yeah. For the unlocks.
Um,
That's the part I was missing, that they were hero.
Is
Sure.
the regular Phoenix not a hero? Because I mean, while
that's
it's not as
the-
good as it's not as good as Samacris, but if it's a monster that with the Night Horde, that'd be a great. I don't know.
I really like the option with the Night Horde. I don't think you'd necessarily need that many dragons.
Yeah, two seems like enough, right? Like,
Yeah. I'm also at the minute really sold on the Basilian Dragon with the Brew of Sharpness, hitting on 2s.
Well, yeah.
you Brits
I
love
played the other day.
your flying monster with your brew of sharpness.
But I think there's also that point of redundancy. Like if you're taking 3 dragons, at some point, a lot of times you'll catch your opponent out because there's so many angles and so many flanks and so many places you can go. I'm not a fan of the 3 dragon list, but I can see why some people are.
Well, that was like Tom Robinson's UK Masters list where he had spare dragons. That when he had 6 dragons he was playing with. So I played him on the top table last game, and at one point he didn't know what to do with his other dragon because it was literally spare. Like it couldn't do anything. So he just sat in the middle of the board and went, "I'll just sit here, I guess."
So
Just
doesn't Adam Ballard have a problem with line of sight to that bone giant from his surge casters at this point? Because Shobik and Dragons in the way, and they're both on the other side.
Yeah.
The monolith doesn't need line of sight; it can just cast.
Okay. But
Well,
the high
the
priest,
cursed high
though.
priest. Yeah.
There it
So he's
goes.
gonna have to
That's-
do it
I'll
on
see if they
one.
catch
Or-
this, because this would be the second time that we've seen a line of sight.
That's 4 inches, and I guess that was enough.
Huh? Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
then never mind.
Sure.
So the monolith does have some cool uses then, like not having to worry about seeing over dragons.
Oh, this is
I
going
like
to be
how they
painful
rolled
now.
a 4, but it was, and then he had to move 5.
That's shooting. So for those of you who joined us late, I do want to let you know that tomorrow we do have a special broadcast -28 live as part of Mantic's Virtual Open Day. We will be demoing some rules that are coming out in an upcoming campaign supplement concerning Magic. So you want to check that out if you've got nothing going on tomorrow. That'll be 2 o'clock British time, 9 a.m. Eastern time, right here on -28 live.
And it'll be recorded, right? So for
And it'll be
those
recorded,
of
yeah,
us
so
who will
you-
be sleeping in.
You can watch it afterwards, but you can't ask questions and have us ask Matt for clarifications if you're watching it after the fact. So, all right, got some Drain Life going on those Loki.
I'm not. I don't think I like the idea of targeting the low high there. I would have gone for the dragon.
Just make sure it
It's a
gets
bit-
removed.
Make sure.
Although I
Yeah.
suppose that dragon is pinned in place now. It's not going anywhere, and it's not killing either of those.
Yeah, I'm not.
That dragon's dead. Which is why I didn't like that flank charge.
But I think like there wasn't a lot of great options left either. But
No.
well, except for the like we talked about the softer things to go after, like the soul snare.
Yeah.
But
And there's a nerve roll of 3 on the Elohi, so he will not be able to get them.
Right.
But now here's the combat that probably matters more than anything else.
Of course, it's top of 6, so there's a good chance that
He might
basically
survive
have
it,
to-
right?
Yeah.
So she'll make 7 out of 10 hits on the dragon, and 6 wounds.
I mean, they are
And
failed as
then the
19.
giants.
This thing's got a lot of nerve. Yeah, see, look how professional that plug was. That's why I don't do it. Oh, is it dead? It's dead.
That takes it out.
Oh.
That is
He's just
3 dragons
out
up, 3 dragons
moving.
down.
He touches a dragon and it dies. I wish that's how it
It
worked
does.
for me.
But the thing is that I know they're fearless 19, but they're only fearless 19. They're not.
Right.
They're not hordes, are they? They're
No.
just.
It's
I
true.
think that's why I'm not. When people talk about how incredibly good the Basilian dragons are, they are good, but they are effectively just slightly better versions of large infantry hordes.
True. It's a good point.
they're just more
Um,
maneuverable than a large infantry horde too.
Absolutely, yeah. But when you invest, more than half your army into 3 of them,
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
You're not wrong.
All right,
Because
so just
now-
a couple more combats left here in the top of turn 6, but I think Adam Ballard is in a really good spot
Yeah,
at this
that's-
point.
Taking that dragon really, I think, solidifies it in Adam's favor at this point.
Yeah, because next round
So-
he can pick up the soul snare with the Elohi, but that's about it.
If
Do
he
you-
hits the soul snare,
Or do you do the ultimate Hail Mary, charge the Cursed Priest, hope to kill the Cursed Priest, overrun into the Monolith, hope to kill both of them?
you're gonna. Okay,
Yeah.
that's going to be a lot of killing.
a lot of killing. That dash
Not
18
gonna
monolith
happen.
didn't stand a chance against that reg.
I didn't say I was good at this game.
And I don't think the Elohi can even see the rear of the mummies around the idol anymore.
Probably.
No, I don't
around
think so.
the monolith.
The monolith.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
monolith.
How many
And
So
points is the Soul Snare?
It's like, what, 100?
150, so it's pretty pricey.
Because Adam needs to pull back another 300 odd points, is it, to get the draw?
315.
Yeah,
Can he charge the rear of the giant with the...
a low high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
they pick that giant up.
He does have Samacris still.
Mm.
Samacris has not been sitting around doing not a lot all game.
Samacris could charge the Soul Snare. He could charge a rear. But
Or apparently
or
he's gonna snoll
go
the
for
monolith. Oh, okay.
No, good. Please don't do
I
that.
I was
don't think he
like-
has arc. I quite like that.
You like that? I think double charge into the giant. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think you go take the easy points with Cycris. I don't know.
What's
I mean,
it in the front into the giant, in the rear with the Elohi? I mean,
Oh, so he's not going for the rear charge.
that's
Yeah.
an odd one.
I mean, if you look at between Drain Life and Life Leech as well, that giant that was on 8 damage is now
is
1
that
again.
one, right?
it's down to
Yeah.
1, yeah.
But the giant's
just-
only
it's
what
just heartbreak.
dash 18.
Yeah. So
That's
a rear
18, and
charge, I
he's-
think, would have been
I think it probably is solid odds of taking it off, right? I mean,
Yeah, the
because I'm not sure
the
why.
bone giant
I mean,
is
I
more
guess
points than
it's
the
turn.
mummy, and he's more points than
It's
the
turn
Like,
six,
soul
why
snare.
isn't
did
it?
you
So-
leave this? Why did you ignore the soul snare? Just like you had so many options to kill it before too.
Yeah. I
Like-
suppose it is turn 6, so
Mhm.
he's hoping there's not going to be a 7.
but the
I
problem
mean, if he kills
here
both
is
here,
like
I don't think he does.
the problem here is like, let's say there's a turn 7, he kills the soul snare, he pivots. He doesn't have
Oh,
any
stronger.
further I don't know.
So is that 12 damage? Oh no, that's the men at arms. I'm going to say
What did Samacris do? Just shift?
just sort of
He
shift and
shifted and healed the men at arms.
That seems a bit of a missed opportunity there.
kill the
They-
mummies.
We pick the mummy, so that will be
That's
180 points.
Okay.
If you pick up the soul snare, it should bring it back to a draw. Does it, or does it not? Actually, is it just short?
I don't think it does.
See, what I'm thinking, if he had charged Samachris into the Soul Snare, I'm not positive if he had sight, but I think there was at least the potential of that. Took the rear charge on the giant. I don't know. It's easy to see it from this
It's
perspective
also like
without any.
no one on at the bottom of 6 here is no one on an objective.
That's true.
No.
Yeah.
No. They just don't care.
Is the silly unit just on the top right of our screen?
Oh, hold on. Yeah,
What's
there is.
that?
That's
Is that
the.
a-
Oh, there's
Oh,
one.
there you go.
I'm sorry.
There we
Yay!
go. 1
Scenario did
point.
something.
Okay, and that'll pick up the Soul Snare. So
Okay.
that's another 150 points. So let's see where we end up.
That'll be close.
I think is it just
Ooh.
into a draw there?
Oh my goodness, it is just into a draw.
Oh, is it exactly 230?
No.
I told you. I felt the draw. Right. Okay. Is it going to be a 6?
So if there's not a turn, there's no turn
No, there's
7.
not. Yet another draw.
Oh,
Screw kill.
so many draws.
It's not a good scenario.
It's just not.
No.
Well, with the way that you design, because you can design
Oh,
a
yeah, I
list
think-
to be good
I
at
think I saw those
scenarios,
counted
or you
down
can
there.
design a list to be
Paper
good at
movie.
kill, right? Like they can't do
You
both.
can't do both.
Make sure I got all the numbers in there correct.
I mean, I've already started sort of writing up my response to like the feedback, effectively the research that we're doing with Kill here.
Mhm.
And the first thing I'm putting is the big caveat warning saying we understand that this data is going to be a bit funky because people are designing their lists purely for Kill. So it's like
What is he drawing?
it's
on the
tricky, isn't
board?
it?
What's he drawing there? 15.
You doing
Oh
the
god, I
math?
hope Adam's not trying to spell, is he?
I'm like, is he writing numbers or slurs? Because I am a concern.
15 to. Can we zoom out? I can't see.
1 second.
Yeah, I want to read this.
Kill points. 15,
Except
25
for that's not the points we have.
1525. Did I miss one of his kills? If he's got 1525, then he wins.
I don't think so.
Let me see. I can pull up. Yeah, let me do the math real quick. Do it from the other way. Start from 2300. And subtract what's still alive. So Samachris is still alive. And Julius is still alive.
Yeah, because that's 55 points different. There's nothing on the board that's worth 55 points.
I kind of trust like my computer.
That's Julius and Samachris. And we got Julius, Samachris, 1 Man-at-Arms, which is 105. And
My neighbor is doing karaoke while singing to Bob Marley, and this is the 3rd time this week he's done this. And I imagine they're by themselves.
all right, I think I must have missed. I think I must have missed one of Adam's kills because I just started from 2300 and subtracted what's still alive, and I get 1525.
Huh. I wonder what we missed.
All right, sorry about that,
All right,
everybody. I seem to have
happens.
missed something.
So then it is a
200.
win in Ballard's favor, no?
Yeah, I think so. Let me hide that.
Yeah, it's not a draw. Kills him. Kills good again.
Kill works. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
All right. Well, I had Adam Padley's numbers correct, but I missed something.
I don't know what you. Yeah. Well, yeah. You missed one of the Men-at-Arm units because we made fun of them the whole game. So, like, inevitably they mattered.
Yeah.
But it was only 55 points, so that couldn't have been just unless we were just like, they're stupid value. 60.
Was there an item somewhere?
I was pulling the points off of his.
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't
So-
know.
What do we think?
Everything's-
Did that come down to impatience? Do we think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Padley had the left flank and he started going on the right, and I don't think there was really a reason for it. Like if he had held back a little bit longer,
Hmm.
even
I
if
think,
he'd
yeah.
held back till turn like 3 to charge, period, right?
Yeah. Because the
He could
shooting wasn't
spend-
doing anything.
No.
And because it really, until the drain life came in, his shooting wasn't like Ballard's shooting wasn't terribly aggressive.
Mm-mm.
Besides, like the men at arms, which is like,
Who cares, right?
who cares? You could have got all your dragons and Alohi in some pretty dope positions if you waited on the charge a little. But don't ask me because I don't know how to play
No,
this.
I actually agree, Ashley, and I also think that like with Iron Resolve, the dragons shrug off those hits, pretty quickly, especially if it's chip damage. And yeah, I think it was one of those where the dragons were in a good position turn 2, hold till turn 3. Of course, in hindsight, from this perspective, it's always easy to make the calls, right?
Yeah, hindsight's always
It's
20/20.
interesting as well about how little Samacris was in the game. I kind of forgot she existed.
And she's a lot of points.
To be honest with you, I totally forgot Cycris was in the game until the end when you were like, "Oh, there she is," and I was like, "Oh, right."
And I think if she could maybe been jumping over, shooting at that cursed high priest.
Yeah.
With piercing fireballs.
Or even using her to attack those war machines, right? Because if you're not looking for the pivot, if you're just wanting to like clamp them down, she can do that, or get her aura going more. Yeah.
I see what I did wrong. I gave him the points for a Men-at-Arms regiment kill when he killed the Alohi regiment. That's the difference.
I do want to point out that at the beginning of the cast, I was saying that I liked Adam Ballard's list in this matchup.
I'll give you that. I still agree that I preferred Adam Padley's list.
I still agreed that I knew an Adam was gonna win.
Yeah.
I was not on the tie committee, so.
I do think this is an instance where Alpha Strike, when I played Alpha Strike in the past, it has a habit of like, if you have a couple of things that go slightly wrong for you, it just cascades so quickly.
It really hurts you, yeah. And that again, I think that is one of the flaws massively in this complete min-maxing, list building style.
It leaves you vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So the lesson, everyone, is to build a balanced list that can deal with threats to equal measure.
Weirdly, yeah. but it is, because it's interesting because this very much was a list that wasn't built for kill.
Right.
The Adam Ballard's list and did a really good job at killing things.
Someone was saying in the chat that they're actually making this list like model wise. So I wonder. I'm assuming that's why they built these lists, just to get more practice with it, which is a cool way to do it.
It's a cool thing to do it. Brindley wants us to make sure we ask about the turn with the 21-inch charge and ignoring line of sight.
Yeah, we'll mention that.
Well, maybe. What's up,
Adam?
Ballard?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Congratulations on the win. And
Thanks.
here comes Adam Padley. All right, thanks, guys. That was cool. That was an exciting game. Thanks for letting us look over your shoulders. What questions do we have for them?
In the chat, I've got one for him. Just for Padley, really. Do you think that you were a bit impatient with your charges, or were you happy with how early you engaged in the end?
Yeah.
That's a long sigh.
To be honest with you, it's 1:30 at the moment, so
yeah,
I was quite happy just to rush through.
I can respect that.
Yeah, I'd have been 100% better waiting another turn. I know that.
Yeah. Because it was interesting because you took quite a few charges that were sort of frontal charges, and I was sort of looking and thinking, oh, next turn you can be right behind and in different positions, and then you sort of went in hard, and we couldn't tell. Was it the shooting you were concerned about, or did you just sort of see charges and were happy enough with the charges you got?
I wasn't too concerned about the charges on the left. When I went in on the spears and stuff, I was fine going in from there because they weren't inspired. So a lot of the frontal charges I was taking were on units that weren't inspired. So I'm quite happy to take that extra risk on a unit that's effectively -2 nerve. So I'm quite happy. I was quite happy with them ones. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that, to be fair.
Okay. And Adam Ballard, it seems like you kind of castled up and just sort of held and ground down and outlasted. Was that kind of your plan? Was that your expected path to victory of just like hold tight and chip away at him, or did you did you improvise as you went, or?
No, 100%. When you got 4 dragons up against you, you can't extend out too far. And the idea going into the game was to threaten him with the shooting, hopefully take out a couple things, force him to come to me, and then take some less optimal charges when I can, and then just really stagger my lines effectively, throwing things out like Idol Shobik. I'm fine with throwing him up there as long as you're not getting, triple charges against him with flanks and fronts. He's really not afraid of even a double dragon. So really just trying to force him to come into my lines and then pick apart from what's going to be my best surging options from there.
Adam, do you feel that your beard is more powerful as an elf player or as an Empire of Dust player?
Really, I need to just pick up the dwarves, and then I will channel that energy. But
It's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Adam Padley, do you feel your lack of beard was an impact in this?
Mate, I'm 2 months into quarantine, mate. I have got a beard.
I feel a little left out now.
Good.
Probably for the best.
This thing has not been taken care of for about 2 months now either, so it is just ratchet.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the game or any questions from the live stream for these guys? Otherwise, it's getting kind of late in the UK. We should let them get to sleep.
Seeing as Tom won his game, how does it feel to be the worst Northern King, Adam?
Dang.
Remember, I'm running this event, mate. I'm quite happy to disqualify people.
So, I'd be concerned, but I'm not sure you know how.
I know how. I talk nicely to Dan. That's what you do.
Yeah, we refer everything to Dan Miner for actual technical.
It's not hard to bribe Dan Miner. You just say, "Hey, do you mind doing this for me?" Be like, "All right."
Yeah, that's literally it. Yeah.
Any
All right,
hesitation, you just throw a beer at him.
Speaking of Dan Miner, I will remind people one more time that tomorrow we are actually going to have a demo match between Elliot and Dan Miner using some new Magic rules that are coming out in an upcoming campaign supplement for Kings of War. You can check that out at 2 o'clock UK time or 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Dash 28 Live. Do we have any other game-related questions for these guys? Was there something else we were asking? We were curious about the turn where a dragon and Julius charged both of the catapults.
Yep.
Did we have like a line of sight question there? Because it looked like the dragon maybe couldn't. We weren't sure if the dragon could see around the monolith maybe. And we were just wondering whether that was checked.
It could see in. It were looking at the back of the catapult, not the front.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Super close. Cool. You guys have anything else?
Thanks for letting us commentate, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well done, Adam. Sorry, Adam.
The Adam squared.
Yeah. For everybody that voted Adam was going to win, you're 100% right.
Right. Yeah.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. So thanks.
Only
thanks
50 points in it though, so we're very close.
Yeah.
It was
really close.
It was a good close game. Yeah, I actually had the math wrong. So we thought it was a little closer than it actually was, and we thought it was a draw till you did the math, and I realized I'd done the math wrong. So so yeah, we were on the edge of our seats because we thought it was almost a draw. So anyway, thanks guys for letting us look over your shoulders while you play. Congrats to Adam Ballard on the win, and good luck to both of you on the remaining round of the tournament. And I'd like to thank Elliot and Ashley and Jake for hanging out with me this evening talking about the match. I'd like to thank everybody on the live stream watching and offering up comments and questions. Once again, I'm Mike Atkins for Dash 28 Live saying stay safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Catch you later.
Do the thing.
See you.